Or is that something
It
else?
looks like a new Zelda. It definitely has the Zelda appearance to it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're already live.
It is the new Zelda. Okay, cool.
Grab the IRC open here while we go.
Starting out with a Skullwood small key already in Sanctuary. Not a very important key, as in it's not required at all, but it does, well, it's required by the logic, but it does help a little bit with routing when we get to that point, so. But we do have ItsSupercar going for the Houlihan strat right off the bat. Seeing this a lot from players in this tournament just because, as it's been stated, there's more stuff that you have to get, so the chances of finding that 300 rupee is even slightly smaller, so I like to play.
I used to think about it as I'm going to Kakariko and I'm likely going to get a 300 by the time I get to Zora, but with Keysanity, it's like I don't think I'm going to see a 300 for a while, so it kind of makes sense.
One of only 2 green rupees in the game, so sometimes the odds are against you. But Supercar grabbing 225 rupees from Houlihan, going to be heading probably west to go get a bomb, or just doing a save and quit and going straight to Sanctuary. Yeah, well, we got a little bit of time just to throw this out. Keysanity. It's one of the newer game modes. It's been out for several months now, but basically the rule is all the dungeon items are now in the general pool. So small keys, big keys, compasses, and maps. Compasses will show you how many items you have in each dungeon. Maps will show you whether the dungeon is a crystal or pendant on the map itself, which is very valuable. But of course, these players will have, a few extra stuff that they need to collect along the way. A lot of required big keys, and one of the most important ones, of course, is that G Tower big key, which can be anywhere except up the gauntlet. So it's basically our new ice rod.
Some good information right off the bat. Aghanim will not be required unless they have to use it. And an ice rod at the maze race, that's definitely something you go and pick up right now.
Oh, for sure. A lot of times you'll see players just go ahead and get that before checking it. But when you come from the south route, it makes more sense to just go ahead and check it.
Yeah, definitely.
Small key in Lost Woods to Misery Mire, another small key that's not required in particular, because Mire has just enough keys to get through it in the dungeon itself from like pots and stuff, so.
Well, I like how the thieves in these little caves change color with the sprite you use. It's a new color I haven't seen before.
Yeah, especially apparent when you got like static link or inverted link or something. Oh, only big 20 in the library, so that means that the boots are, well, who knows where those could be.
Ganon's Tower, clearly.
Alright, so both players hitting up Kakariko from different sides of Kakariko, so we'll see who has the better routing. Supercar finding bombs right there, so thankfully that means that they might actually not even have to buy some bombs. They have enough to get through the entirety of Kakariko, and we'll be able to save some rupees. And there's the other green rupee, so we already found both of them.
Yeah, this is a really rough start, and as you can see, Samurai not able to bomb the wall there and has to run off.
Yeah. It's sometimes worth taking that chance, but it's kind of frustrating, especially if you go straight over to the bottom of the well and don't find bombs there either.
Yeah, this was a play I used to go with, but it is risky.
We did get a power glove in the chicken hut, so pretty big deal. And red meringue, Turtle Rock map, a castle tower small key. Oh no, Futon. No. That's never good to get this early.
No, it isn't. Although I feel slightly comfortable knowing that the lumberjack had nothing, but it's still a little early to get keys for that place.
You never know. It could easily be one of those Moon Pearl on Pyramid seeds. We've seen a few of them. That used to be the norm back in the day. Back in like version 18, the first tournament. I feel like at least, I don't know, 40% of seeds were Aga seeds back then.
Yeah, I think the math on it now, on open mode, I didn't check the Keysanity numbers, is about 20%. Maybe it was 33, somewhere around there.
It's still pretty high.
Yeah, it's a little higher than you'd think, but I think the reason is with all the sequence breaks that people use, we don't actually see that percentage.
Yeah, that's always great to see when people can like fake flipper to hobo to get the hammer and just completely skip Aga Tower. Oh, there's some rupees for Samura1man, so I'm probably feeling pretty good about that one.
Yep. Good money. He can buy some more bombs, which he definitely should do before leaving. He's down to 2. I think he's gonna have to use 1 more. I don't.
I'd say they both should, but who knows? Maybe.
Fortunately for Samurai, he's heading downwards, but Supercar has to head upwards, which means they'll have to check the bush crab and hope. Which I don't
Maybe the
believe
bush crab will
Samurai
have
got to
magic.
check.
I'm hoping that the bush crab has magic, so we can see some ice rod strats on the mini Moldurns.
That'd be good. It's actually probably just as good for him because 1 bomb, if you find bombs off the rupee crab, you're going to be using all those bombs in mini Moldorm anyways, so it's kind of balances out. Like I guess you use half of them, but
I think Supercar mistakenly dropped down here first, because usually you check the Lostwood spot, the mushroom spot up here, and then drop down there and then save and quit out. But maybe he's looking to go check Lumberjack at this point.
I do like checking Lumberjack, although in Keysanity it seems a lot less important.
Well, he did get that castle tower. Yeah. If you get a castle tower key, then all of a sudden you're thinking, this might be a thing. Yeah, oftentimes players will put it off until they get like the boots or something.
Yeah, I know Christos likes to do that. He doesn't have boots, he doesn't check the cave.
And you never know, sometimes the seed will allow you to route it in, like you'll go check Bumper Cave and then mirror to check Lumberjack.
Yep, also a good way to save time.
Bush Crab has 5 rupees. Alright, well.
And nothing collected.
Let's see what the stunned enemy drop is.
Ooh.
Well, he got his boomerang out. I thought he was going to go check, but going to be using his boomerang to get himself through the Death Mountain Cave, so this is a pretty interesting choice. He's only going to be able to get 2 items and see a 3rd one.
Yeah, it's very gutsy.
It is good. Like, it's not a very optimal play at this point, I don't think. Because a lot of times you want to put off...
the save and quit makes it... It could actually pay off and be faster with the save and quit, because he was already right there. So if he gets the save and quit point from the old man and then it just pays off that he has to do that anyways, it could balance out.
That's a good point. He is already over there, so might as well just go ahead and do it. So, ooh, a small key to Dark Palace. Alright, there's our first spot key. Actually, yeah, that's a very good point. You know, you're already over there. You might as well. If he hadn't have gone to check Lumberjack, he probably would have bailed.
Yeah, the part that seems more questionable is climbing the mountain here because it takes about a minute just to check Spectacle Rock, and it's out of logic right now, so it's almost guaranteed that you're going to be coming back up here anyways to see whatever this is. So I think skipping this could have been an easy choice. Well, not an easy choice, but an option. You didn't have to do this, but I mean, it's not a bad thing to do either way.
Yeah, and not getting rewarded at all. Only bombs and an arrow capacity upgrade, but we're going to see the back of escape from Samura1man. Let's see if Supercar does the same. Looks like it.
3 quick chests, so it's a good call. The issue for Supercar is this is his last bomb.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what the stunned enemy prize pack is for this one.
Yeah. He could get bailed out when he save and quits to his house to go down towards Mini Moldorm. He could get the bomb right there, although not much of a tool to kill the Mini Moldorms once he's in.
Well, here's the other thing. Oh man, I was hoping one of the rats was gonna drop some. He's sitting pretty close to that 500 rupee mark, and of course Zora is in the logic at this point with that glove in hand.
Yep.
Of course, players don't often like to go to Zora until they get the Moon Pearl so that they can water walk and all that jazz.
Does not opt to pick up a rock, so he's going to be bombless. And because no bombs, this makes a lot of sense. Check out the ledge item, or the island item, and then head up to Sahash.
Might actually go buy some bombs, yeah.
Well. Also a good strategy.
I've utilized that shop a few times myself.
I don't think I ever have, and it's clearly not good for me, because this is a great play.
Now, what I don't agree with is Supercar not checking the Lake Hylia island at all.
Yeah, there's Small key there that might haunt him later.
Oh, and Samura1man buying some more bombs, so upgrading his 7 bomb count. I think it was 7 or 9 up to 15, which is good when you don't really have any good weapons.
Yep. He'll be... If he goes into Eastern, he doesn't need them anyways, because everything in there is killable by pots, because the only thing you need to kill are the skeletons, or the Stalfos in that room. But
Another Swamp Palace Green. I had that in my race last night, so that could easily mean a flipperless, a mirrorless, a hookshotless seed. Kappa.
I don't know if these guys can hover.
Man, there's the Quake Medallion right there. Don't know if we'll need that yet, but good to have that out of the way. And Eastern Palace is our first crystal on the map.
Yep. It's also nice to get those medallions early, because in a lot of the other times when you play, you just don't get medallions at all. But I find lately, you get them early and it just feels nice, because when you go to the area, you don't have to think about having to go back. You don't have to think about delaying stuff.
Yeah, you can save a little bit of time not having to check to see if, what medallion is required for this dungeon, since you're like, well, I already have it. I already know. I had something and I lost it. Crud. Oh yeah, the joke of let's see if we get all 3 medallions before we get our first sword.
Happens a lot, surprisingly, so we'll see.
No, both players making the same route into Eastern Palace, so I could see them doing this as opposed to like Hyrule Castle, based on the whole lacking of a weapon scenario.
Yeah, and I guess I understand why they didn't choose to go to Mini Moldom, although Samurai had the bombs to safely clear it out, so it's a little interesting that they both chose to go this way.
Well, if they find a Moon Pearl, then that route looks a little bit better. So I'm
Yeah.
sure both these players know how to do the water walk thing.
That's another thing I like to do, is constantly delay stuff like that, like going up the mountain until you have the mirror or hammer or hookshot, stuff like that. And then delaying south until you have flippers or pearl.
It usually works out until like the thing you were looking for before going there is there.
Yeah, you can get really heavily punished by trying to make those plays, but usually it'll pay out.
Yeah, that's the thing with Keysanity. I say this every time, that the difference between Keysanity, one of the main differences between this game and like the open standard is, open standard you try and do as many dungeons in Go mode, which is you can just get through it, get the big key, and beat the level. Like you don't have to check all the chests. In this, it's all about how many dungeons you can do on your first pass, like not have to double dip.
Yeah.
Eastern Palace, I think, gets a waiver because there are no requirements to get through all these chests, except for this one coming up where you need the lamp, but just treat it kind of like the overworld stuff.
Yeah, and with Boomerang early, you can avoid all the unnecessary damage here, which is nice, because 3 hearts trying to do the dark rooms and then do the damage boost for the switch is a little dangerous.
Yeah, especially because anti-fairies do a full heart regardless of what tunic you have.
Yeah, and Samurai, unfortunately, a little bit slower in the room, so when he comes out of this one, he should be taking an immediate anti-fairy hit, and I don't think he can avoid it.
Yeah, because when you're in this room where you get the pot key, everything in the previous room stands perfectly still.
And he's got the pause on that, so he should be fine. He just has to...
Oh, wow.
That was terrifyingly close.
It looks like Supercar is looking a little nervous. He might opt to just...
So he doesn't have the health damage boost anymore. I guess he could, because the Popo is right there and he has blue mail, but that's still a really risky move.
Big 20 for our stunned prize pack item, so that's really good.
Really good.
So yeah, if you want to do this setup, watch, you gotta... Oh no. 3 hearts is so hard.
Yeah.
You really don't have that much to work with, so...
That's why I was mentioning the anti-fairy hitting him. Is 3 hearts. You basically are doing NMG lampless, which is kind of terrifying. And here's another terrifying moment.
Oh, it's a small key.
Oh no!
Oh no! Well then, that's interesting.
That could really... Well, it's technically non-logic right now, but that doesn't really help because you need the lamp to clear your castle tower anyways, which means it's probably gonna come up.
Well, here's the thing: if Aga ends up being required, and Samura1man finds the lamp like right now or something, and he's gonna have to go back to go get that. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, the death sucks, but I mean, like logically, the game was like, no, get the lamp first, obviously, because you can't do dark rooms. That's cheating. It's not cheating, but it's against logic. But yeah, 3 hearts is really scary in that room, especially with the antiparries doing full hearts.
He'll just have to hope that that doesn't come back and bite him, which I feel a little comfortable most of the time when I don't make that chest or I skip that chest. It doesn't come back to bite me at all, but when it does,
Most of the time.
you're not happy.
I'm so mad. I had a Keysanity once where I didn't check that, and it ended up being the bow.
That is rough.
And I lost like 30 minutes. I was so tilted. But, you know, I was sitting at 3 hearts, and I was like, this isn't worth it. I'm just going to go there and die, probably. I was sitting at 3 hearts and no sword, which, you know, same as these players.
Yeah.
So, but we did get a Desert Palace small key, and we're going to see some mini Moldor and some bomb strats over here. Moldorn's not working very well with Samura1man. Trying to avoid those
Still
bombs.
gonna go the 4 for 4. Wait, what?
Yeah, that happens every now and then. I have no idea. I had explosion once that was like literally covering the entire mini Moldor, and he was fine. Oh, nice.
I was gonna say he had a perfect 4 for 4. Oh no. Oh god.
Oh, no. Oh,
the
no.
book tells me we're going.
Oh, no.
Oh my. Okay,
All
the
right.
book tells me desert, which is he's got the full set to clear desert if the torch doesn't matter. So that's interesting.
I mean, we could see some ice rod strands.
I guess he needs the big key. That's a good point.
Yeah, he does need that. Yeah, that's kind of weird. How do you route this then? It's like, I have the flippers. I have the book. Do I go left or do I go right?
With the lamp as well.
Samura1man opting to go left.
I kind of like this play because you don't have the money for Zora right now, so you're not really pressured into going right. Although all of it is like within logic and just staring at you. So
yeah. So let's see if Supercar decides to go to Ice Rock Cave and the like.
Hope he does. I want some divergence.
And nope.
Hey, the
there's
300.
some Zora money. That's good.
That works out pretty well for Samurai.
I don't know. I think it's safe to assume that 9 times out of 10, if you get an early book, dive desert.
So yeah, it's a good call.
Especially
Especially when you have the small key already.
Yeah, especially. Like, it's pretty rare to get something good in a desert without a small key if you go there early, but...
Gotta get that big key inside of desert.
Oh no. I want to see some Ice Rod strats. Ice Rod bomb strats on land mullahs. Alright, so interesting enough, Supercar checking Agana's cave first. If he finds like a sword or something, or that Desert Palace big key, that'd be monumental. Well, hey,
big.
there's Cane of Burna, which is actually pretty good at taking out land mullahs if you have the magic for it.
Yeah. Pretty helpful. Doesn't get through the Aghanim barrier, so we don't have to worry about that still.
Yeah, yeah, that works.
It's a good bomb throw.
Both players getting full heals from pieces of hearts.
Doesn't pick up
nice.
the 20 knowing there's a 300 waiting for him on the ledge.
The funny thing is he still needs more money.
Yeah, you're going to need to pay for pod, you're going to need to pay for the chest game and the digging game, although the digging game usually gives you your money back and some. Probably would have picked up that 20 because he did still have to wait for that bomb to go off, but it looked like he was heading towards that heart though, that was on the BMOS. And then
he got
the
the full
heart
heal.
container, yeah. And it was just like, oh, well, I guess I don't have to do this. Kind of threw him through a loop, I guess.
Gonna grab some information. What's this torch item? And then... Ooh.
Oh.
Man, I still feel like, even in Keysanity, it's like very often a small key.
That's not too surprising. I believe there's upwards of 25 keys.
Well, we might be coming back... Well, we are going to be coming back here to potential... Well, actually, we don't know. This might be a pendant dungeon.
Maybe it's just 20 keys.
Yeah, so far, most of the small keys that we've gotten have been kind of useless, as far as we know.
Meyer and Skullwoods are... I believe you never need to grab any for either. Although it helps the routing for Skullwoods to get a key.
Yeah, because then you don't have to go through that forced small key room.
Yeah.
All these big 20s. Come on, man. Pick them up. I don't know. It's messing with me.
Valuable cash.
You see a red rupee on the ground, you don't pick it up.
I mean, if they pick those up, they go to Zora and they get, say, the cape. Well, I guess they'd need at least a sword as well. So we'll call it they get 2 swords on the way to Zora. Have to do Aga to get into Pod. They need that money, and they don't have enough based on what they currently have. So, but the stun prize being 20s, that's not a concern.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we're gonna see the Zora's Domain section coming up. Based on this routing, though, I guess it looks like it's gonna be Hobo. Do you do Ice Rod Cave then Zora, or do you do just straight to Zora?
I'm a big fan of just leaving Ice Rod Cave normally, but right now you're looking at a few locations left after this because you've already been through Eastern. You can go up the mountain, but there's only 2 things, so you're kind of hoping to find like a hookshot or a mirror there. So I would probably go to Ice Rod and hope. It's a tough call though because there's 4 items going towards Zora, so you're likely to get something there and not have to check Ice Rod.
I mean, there's a good chance that maybe. Well, actually, I don't know. Because you could find like the flute in Zora's Domain, and then that fluting to 8 is like a lot quicker than swimming there.
I believe. Is this all that's left for us right now?
We do have Hyrule Castle.
Oh yeah, they haven't been through there yet. Okay, so there's about a 10% chance, maybe a little bit less, that the Ice Rod Cave has something right now.
I mean,
in
we're
terms
still looking
of
for...
getting that progression item pushes forward.
We need a cape or sword. Well, both. There's the big 20. There's the Moon Pearl.
So I'm thinking a hammer coming up on that Zora ledge, or inside of Escape. Zora wouldn't charge you money for a hammer, right?
I'd rather see the mitts, because I love seeing some swordless, weaponless strats going into the Dark World. That's always fun.
It is true. Their weapon would... Oh, darn.
Darn it. Well, that's good. It's not a hammer.
Well,
so
that cape could come up right off of Zora and just crush his skull a little bit.
I'm kind of hoping for this Aga play. Though that would be unfortunate for Samura1man, because then they'd have to go all the way back into Eastern Palace to go get that small key.
Yeah, they don't have that access to them yet.
Ooh, getting sniped right at the last second.
We're going to see what Ice Rod is from Supercar, so that'll give us the intel we need to see if Samurai has made a terrible mistake or not. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, Moon Pearl and Sword over in Zora's Domain is pretty good.
Yep.
So, Hyrule Castle it is.
You might be going up the mountain, which I don't think is the best of choices.
Oh no.
The eastern key there. That
oh.
That's bad and good, because if Samurai gets that, he might be more inclined to go back to Eastern, and then he'll get the Castle Tower key.
Yeah, I mean, it's for Samurai, it'll be 2 items versus 1, so...
But the other thing is, if Samurai opted to go through the South Shore before Eastern like he could have, because he had the bombs at the time, that could have been just a full cycle. And he would have had a little more hearts to keep him alive, maybe.
You gotta blame that book. Because normally, well, at least for me, like, I would go Mini Moldorn and then go Ice Rod, and he did get the flippers. So
yeah,
probably wanted to put it off
until
he had rupees for Zora.
Yeah, he had the stun prize, but he didn't have a way of killing them, so he couldn't just farm the money he needed for Zora that way, unfortunately. He could have gotten the sword off the ledge, jumped back down, farmed some Zora monsters, and then walked back, but that's a little bit of a waste of time.
Did we find anything of value in Desert besides rupees?
There was Berna, but I mean...
Yeah, it's really hard to, like, that's just the thing, is like one routing difference can change how you route. Like, you know, if that Eastern Palace big key leads to something important like the mitts or the hammer, you know, they could have got, both of these players could have had that before going into Eastern Palace.
So it's got to be that Hyrule Castle play is the only option, I believe.
Yeah. But you don't want to keep putting off dungeons just because you want to be able to, like, full, quote-unquote, full clear it.
Yep. you think they find like a bottle in there? Have to go to Sick Kid, or are they gonna get Dark World access right on the go in there?
I want a cape.
I would like a cape as well. They have exactly what they need. A cape or a Master Sword would send them straight through to the Dark World. They don't have any. They have one pod key, so the
Yeah, that's
Dark
the
World's a
thing.
little narrow still.
Yeah,
They need a hook shot.
even if
Really.
even if they got to the Dark World, they couldn't really do anything. They could go to Pod and they can go to Catfish. That's about it.
Pod without bow has a single item. I guess by logic, the small key could be required to go through the middle without bow, and you get the bow inside or something like that. So you could have 3 chests available to
Yeah,
you.
one small key gets them two more chests. But let's find out what we got going on in Hyrule Castle. Maybe our answer's in here. Big 20.
Some cash. So we desperately need money right now with this 20 drops. Unfortunately, really lacking at the start of the seed so far. 26 minutes in, and you kind of feel like you're just clearing out the entirety of what you can possibly see in the light world before you can continue on.
Yeah.
Look at how open goes sometimes.
Well, then you spend the whole time like thinking, well, like once they find Dark World access, they're like, what did my opponent do that they're probably way in the Dark World already, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And,
Samurai has that Eastern chest to be in the back of his mind, haunting him for the rest of time.
Oh, for sure.
We've got 2 items. 1 item left? 1 item left in here, so Zelda's sell. I guess they can go all the way around to the middle chest as well with the lamp, so 2 chests left.
Yeah, we might see a Death Warp. Yep. Looks like Samura1man setting up for a Death Warp.
Hopefully.
Definitely.
Yeah, there it is.
Alright, what are we gonna get? Big 20.
Cash.
And opting to die by the hands of a green guard as opposed to bombing himself out of existence.
Yeah, a little faster, I think. Well, maybe not a little faster, but it saves 2 resources.
Disrespect in the 20.
Got the money for pod right now, which might be the next direction, and you've got the money for, I believe, I can't remember the costs, but I think chess game and digging game combined to 120, so I think they have the money for everything until they have to pay the dwarves. So
Futon, if you
they got money.
had $200 but you saw $5 on the ground, would you pick it up?
I would leave that for someone more in need, Willard. I wouldn't at all. I'd take it immediately.
I know this isn't real life, but all right, let's see what we got in the sewer chest. Is ether? All right, so
What's that? Wait, hold on here. What?
what?
Have we missed something?
What?
What is possibly left for us to do?
Eastern Palace big chest.
Oh yeah,
That's
the
it.
big key they picked up.
So that's looking like the play. It looks like Samura1man's gonna go get that big key now. So that's got to be really frustrating when
Yeah.
you try and save time by cutting corners, but then of course the corners you cut you back.
Yeah. Fortunately, he's gonna be right there to go back and pick up the chest he missed. Oh god. It's a good thing he wasn't fake flipping, because that would
Right.
I just had like that moment of panic, getting shot in the water, because I'm always there without flippers.
It's always when you're like trying to get into one of those stupid whirlpools with the weird wonky hitboxes. You're like, just get in the hole.
Yeah.
And it never works. Yeah, you gotta be kind of frustrated at this point that basically you have. It doesn't feel good to full clear the light world before getting into the dark world, unless it's like by choice.
Yeah. It also hurts more when you also have to double dip a dungeon you've already been in. First 30 minutes, double dip required.
that moment of pause.
He's just like, wait, what, really?
Well, this is good. This is actually really good for Samura1man, just because
Yeah.
of that death in Eastern Palace. So Supercar is still going to have a slight lead coming out of this, but he's going to end up missing that. So
Samurai opts to wrap around, it could be upwards of 2 minutes of a lead.
So at this point, what do you want? Do you want it to be a Master Sword or a Cape, and this is an Agaseed?
They
like linear
want
linear
the
seeds
hammer.
are interesting. as a spectator, I think. As a player, I'm not a big fan of linear seeds at some points.
I'd say as a viewer, I prefer the everyone goes separate ways, that you can see everything early, but at the same time, it kind of like dies down the impact of the later game because you know where everything is early. So as a viewer, I'm a little torn on that subject, but as a runner, I do not want to see a Master Sword here or a Cape here. I want to see the hammer here so that the world just opens up.
I kind of feel like with linear seeds, you can rely a little bit more on your execution, on your skill to win the race.
I know
But,
Christos and Andy have mentioned that a few times. Maybe it was TGH. I don't remember who I was watching at the time, but they mentioned that they don't mind linear seeds at all. And I don't think they went into too much details on it, but I believe it is because it lets them just perform instead of worry about all the possibilities.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. With Randomizer, especially, there's a good chance that anyone can more or less win. It depends on how the seed plays out. Oh, there's our hook shot. Okay.
That's I guess that's a pretty good option, but I'm a little disappointed because it means now you have to climb up to Death Mountain, get a few more chests. I believe there's 8 remaining up there for them to find. And then with that 8, they have to decide what are they going to go to next, depending on what they get from that. Which I'm guessing is going to be a few more keys and then maybe one key item.
Master Sword, Cape. Both of them.
Both.
I could easily see a hammer here, and then they pop into Tower of Hera, maybe.
If they go to the Death Mountain and they get a mirror, that's just frustrating because you have to save and quit and then go back up again. Mirror through there to get to Hera.
That actually that'd be really funny.
I hate going to Death Mountain and having to save and quit back to Death Mountain.
Samura1man picking up that castle tower key, and then we'll be shortly behind ItsSupercar.
Much better executed that time. I imagine it was a lot just the comfortability of having 3 hearts the first time. I guess 2 at the time was just a little bit scary.
Well, you only really need 2.5
1.5.
1.5?
Yeah, I think it's 1.5 if you hit the popo and then bounce into the thing.
Yeah, okay.
But I know the way I take it because I'm scared. I take double fairy box, so I take 2 hearts.
Small key 2, T-Rock.
This is not a good spot to be stuck for Samurai. I think he's actually going to get sniped.
Heart container.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. That's rough. Another heart piece.
Heart?
Another heart piece.
Was that 5 hearts? What was it?
That was 3 heart. It was a small key, 3 hearts, and a heart container.
What was the small key too? I missed it.
T-Rock. So, Spiral Cave has to. That's it. That's all we have. It's just Spiral Cave. What a silly seed.
This is piece by piece. A big key. Okay. Definitely need the mirror. Well, maybe you don't need the mirror at some point for that, but
who knows? It could be the big key to swamp, but we never get the
it could
mirror.
be the big key to swamp. You just never get any swamp items and don't have to go there. That'd be beautiful.
Well, it's got to be satisfying. Well, I don't think either of these players know how to hover, or at least, can do it. So seeing that Pendant Swamp but getting the hook shot already is like, okay, good. Because that's the thing, is when you see Pendant Swamp, you're like, all right, hookshot might actually end up just being NG Tower.
Yeah. I also find it funny that they both struggled with the low hearts because of Eastern just being terrifying. Oh my god. What are the odds?
All right, let's go kill land mullahs. This seed is amazing.
Oh my god. I think this is the one I would just quit out on right now. I'd just be like, nope.
All right, well, we're gonna get those ice rod strands, hopefully. So
yeah,
or burna strands. Oh my goodness, this is amazing.
As I was attempting to say before the seed just shocked me, is I find it interesting that they got the no hearts struggle through Eastern because of just how the seed played out and how terrifying the damage boost can be, and then this cave of 3 whole heart pieces just waiting for you in Death Mountain.
Well, here's the interesting thing. They do have the hookshot now, so if they do find just a cape or a Master Sword in Desert, they have access to West Dark World through hookshot over the Broken Bridge. So The Aga play is probably still going to happen. You never
Yeah.
get 2 castle tower keys this early and it not be an Aga tower required seed.
It even could still be they get saved the mitts here, and way later on they realize we still have to kill Aga and head over there to get the hammer. Well, I guess they have flippers that wouldn't exist, so ignore me. I guess it could be the hammer in Fat Fairy then. Would be the
Oh,
only
man.
possibility remaining.
That'd be icing on the cake.
So it's either a way to kill Aga here, or Dark World access. I can't imagine anything else. Mirror. A mirror could happen.
All right, what are we gonna find in the Desert Palace big chest? It's
Of course it's not anything. We gotta go to that last remaining spot every time.
All right.
Just
I
scraping this
don't
out.
know.
Guys, if you had plans for the night, cancel them, because this is gonna be a long one.
Dude, imagine if every single, like, the entire seed just played out this way. Literally last chest every single time leads to progression. Like, how do you, as a runner, how do you feel about this kind of seed, though?
I would feel very concerned that the person I'm running against somehow, at some point, skipped a step and is already ahead of me.
Because, like, you could have gone to Ice Rock Cave first and done Eastern Palace the first time.
You could have even missed Desert entirely and gone there in one trip as well.
Yeah, if you had gone east to Ice Rock Cave instead of going to Desert first, you would have not had rupees for, you know, Zora, but then you could have gotten the hookshot, gone up to Death Mountain, got the Desert Palace, and done Desert all in one go.
Yeah, this could, and both players double dipped Death Mountain as well at this point, so technically you could have just at no point backtracked to a place you'd already been, which means they could be like a good 8 minutes ahead at this point, but
Yeah, it'd be interesting to take
terrifying lead.
a seed like this and, you know, like
Just
route
it ahead and see
yeah,
how
just
different-
route it. I mean, they're pretty rare, but there have been races where non-tourney races, just like casual races, where runners get the spoiler log beforehand and then they get to route it out and then race it. Which
So I can grab the magic pot. No. All right. Well, we're getting 2 shots out of this ice rod before we have to go with our sword.
and only get 1. All right, this is going to be a long fight. Now, it's
Yeah.
worth noting that a charged sword spin with the fighter sword doesn't do extra damage on land
No,
balls.
it's
So-
it can be a little easier to hit the first hit if you don't feel like going for the easy poke, but he can hear you. He went to swinging.
Good.
This is a good play though. Going off the spin there gets you the double.
hmm
You gotta be aware of when they're coming up at what spots so you can use the spins to your advantage. It's really hard to do though. Lamolas is a really hectic fight. You wouldn't think about it, but this is one of the harder fights in the game to do quickly.
Oh, for sure. Even when you have like the bow and arrow or something. All right, what's it gonna be? Well, at least we do get our first crystal, so that's, you know, good. If this was also a pendant, oh my gosh. All right, well, let's go visit the sick kid and get our next progression item.
Holy moly.
This is like connect the dots right now. This is insane. I've never seen something this linear.
This is the craziest scene I've ever watched in my life.
I mean,
I've seen Plandos that are easier.
I mean, it'd be one thing if all of a sudden, like, the next progression was something like Mitts, which opens up a ton of stuff. But
Yeah.
I still feel like it's still going to end up going to Aga Tower in the end. I really hope it does.
I can't believe
This is everybody's dream, you know.
It could still be Mirror and they have to go up to Hera next.
Oh, please. You know, you always see those long chains in chat where it's like, you know, big key to shovel to flute or to, you know, to bottle to this to that. This one's getting there.
Samurai's got some really good RNG here with the spawns. They're spawning on top of each other, which is giving them a lot of doubles.
All right, we're doing Aga Tower.
There it is!
Good old
Oh my
Master
God.
Sword. Oh man. Well, this is a video game. This is a video game that is happening right now. Master Sword would have been nice for that Landmola fight, but no.
We get to cast the most ridiculous things. It's
It's-
wonderful.
the funny thing is, I didn't even like. Who rolled this seed? It wasn't me.
I don't think it could have been just a dot opener, dot Keysanity. I think tournament seeds have their own, right?
Yeah. Well, if the runners at the end of the day want to write up some reports, they can go ahead and hit up Feasel for those, because I believe he was the one that rolled the seed for them.
Angry message to Feasel. CC Christos.
Fix your game. Well, you wouldn't say that to Feasel. But yeah, so Master Sword is actually, it's not a bad item to have going up the gauntlet. I don't think the Ice Rod works on the red guards at all further along.
I don't actually know. I've never used the Ice Rod beyond killing land molas or freezing the guard and throwing it at the chain guard.
I know they kill the blue guards for sure, except the archer ones. For some reason, they freeze them, which makes no sense. But I'm not gonna ask questions.
This might be the latest Dark World access I've ever seen.
40 minutes. It's impressive. And then even when they get to the Dark World, they still don't have like an easy route. Will be interesting to see if any of them. I doubt any of them would go straight for the pod play with only one key.
Yeah, but they might not even think about the hook shot right away, so they might just run there naturally and then just go, oh, wait a minute.
Be interesting to see if any of them also go to Catfish. But
yeah,
at this point, Supercar has a couple minutes lead. I guess it really, we're stemmed off from probably Samura1man going for that extra chest that he missed in Eastern Palace, and maybe having a better land mola. See,
not too much in the tower though. The chests are a little.
That's how you do that first room.
Yeah.
When you don't have good firepower.
Yeah, if you have a bow, you try to weave in a spin with 2 shots, but when you don't, you just gotta do the pings and spin. I saw a really cool strat entering this room where you just boomerang on Supercar screen. You just boomerang the door immediately upon entry as you charge up a spin.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I believe
okay.
Zelna uses that in his world record. I watched that today or yesterday. I learned a lot actually.
I usually just like turn and poke the door, but
yeah, that's what I go with.
When you have a boomerang, like it's one of the few advantages, I guess, to using it.
Yeah, and you're already gonna use it on the guard coming up right here to get him out of the way.
Wow, that actually hit him without getting stopped by his little force field. Ooh,
does the red one go a little faster? Ooh, the double poke too. He's a little low now.
Gotta be careful at this point. Heart and a half going into Aga. Here, if you're worried about stuff, at this point I would just Ice Rod it up, since it kills these guys in one hit.
That time this boomerang got blocked.
Yeah. It was really interesting.
Save for Samurai, hopefully.
Someone actually showed me a video of a visualization of their actual line of sight, and it's really stupid.
Yeah.
It's
like a
ridiculously
sprite moves around in front of them.
It's like a big, it's a red laser bar that just kind of goes in a weird pattern. It's not consistent at all with their animation either. It's like you see him look left and right, and you're like, oh, he looked right at me. It's like, nope, that has nothing to do with it.
Well, fortunately, if you're Supercar, Samurai had a little bit of trouble in the past 2 rooms, just due to the way the RNG was. So he's not going to catch up too much on that unfortunate hallway.
Hopefully for Supercar, he doesn't have to deal with too many blue balls here, because
yeah, it would be the seed though if it threw like a good 10 at them.
Both these guys getting dunked by that last guard up there.
Yeah, he's a little troublesome if you don't have the boots, because you're typically used to just dashing through here and not worrying about it.
It's so scary when you get knocked down and then you get poked again. So both these guys going into this fight with not a good set of hearts, but I think that's our first blue ball.
I think it's second.
Second? Okay.
I think there was the 3rd shot on the first wave.
There's a 3rd one. Supercar getting standing far enough back. Oh, there's 4. Wow, jeez. Standing far enough back that the blue balls wouldn't hit him.
Yep, you do want to be left or right of him so that they can't hit you, because they always explode in the same general pattern. And left and right is safe. Directly up or down is not. So if you ever want to hit them from an up or down angle, you want to put yourself slightly offset.
Yeah, good work from both these guys. Let's see what we got on the pyramid compass. All right. Well, here we might finally see a little bit more divergence. I don't know. I think the optimal play is just to go West Dark World. Don't, like, maybe save Catfish for if and when you get the... Well, they've already been to Zora. So no, I would do Catfish now. Because you're never going to go back there ever again.
Yeah, Catfish before the hook shot would be my preferred method. I'd even, if you're going to pod now, you wouldn't do that. But especially because if you're going to pod, you just save and quit out, back to the pyramid, and then you run off. Though not many people remember to save and quit off at that point. But you don't go to pod here. There's no way.
Nah, with only one key. I mean, unless like mitts are the first chest or something silly.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I've seen the amount of times I've seen mitts in pod is a little bit frustrating, but
yeah,
it doesn't seem to be the time for that right now.
Nice little strat that I learned from a good buddy of mine was that Supercar walks. There's a little bush that's sitting up on the ledge. Oh, hold on. Small key 2. Candace Tower. Okay. That little bush that's sitting there up on the ledge, if you grab that and hop down with it, you, for some reason, retain your normal walking speed, as opposed to the speed you have when you're holding something.
That's probably because of the ledge jump. I know when you go near a hole, when you're holding something, it resets your speed, as well as if you have the old man, you might notice that when you're walking with the old man, you actually go back to normal speed at one point. And it's because the first hole in the next room, when you get them, has the movement speed reset.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I also noticed that speed or movement is just kind of wonky whenever you're like near a hole.
Yeah, I was recently taught that when doing the hammer jump to take a little step to the left when you're grabbing the pot so that you can run it full speed up to the bomb jump location. I never really considered it.
Huh. Yeah.
Small speed tech.
I especially noticed it the other day when I had ice physics in T-Rock, and I was like dashing along the edge, and I like super dashed. It was like super. It was fast. I was like, that's cool. I'm gonna do that again. Oh, only a small shield on Bumper Cave, and no mirror, so we can't check to see. Oh, we've already seen Lumberjack. But yeah, so both players making the same route. Supercar with just a slight lead at this point, and see what the next thing we're gonna find is.
With the Skowitz key, they don't have to worry about that awful room we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's also nice if you get like the other small key that's out in the wild.
Yeah, then you don't have to worry about killing the Gyudo.
Save a little magic and a little bit of time and maybe a couple hearts, but a lot of GT small keys already. And by a lot, I mean 2. Right. Oh, wow. There's the big key for pod.
I fortunately looked away, but our tracker says yes, and Dude is never wrong, so...
Well, that's interesting. Of course, you know, they still don't have the keys to get to the big chest in pod anyway, but you gotta be thinking, after you get your next pod key, I think 2 keys is enough to get... No, you need at least 3 keys if you want to avoid the hammer jump. But that would mean you'd have to skip the vanilla big key chest at the beginning of the dungeon.
Yeah.
So...
You could technically full clear pod with 2 keys, but you'd leave out 2 chests.
Yeah. So,
a
little bit far away from
hammer
that.
jump as well.
Pod's just a silly dungeon.
Yeah, the key logic is just a nightmare to think about.
I'm ready for that retro mode, the Keysanity B. It's gonna be sweet. Be able to all small keys are in the same pool and they work for any dungeon. And you can buy keys from shops.
Should be a good time.
That's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. Yeah, so far just bunch of keys in this dungeon, and gonna have to bail on out of here. We don't have that fire rod yet, so.
Yep, down to the Village of Outcasts. A lot of options here. This is where the do you dive the first floor of Thieves Town comes into play, because a lot of runners like to skip out until you have the mirror or the big key. But
Well,
I don't fully agree with that type of play, so it's kind of everyone has their own opinion on it.
I would do the Death Warp. Ooh, well, we don't have to talk to the bomb shop because we already have our 5 and 6, Meyer and T Rock, which is a disgusting pyramid fairy set of crystals.
Well, you know you're getting Kane, and you know you're getting Fire Rod at some point.
Yeah, maybe another medallion. I would go ahead and go for the 4. They don't have a fairy in a bottle, so they can just Death Warp if needed.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's really easy to drop those hearts on the way as well, since they're at 5 or 6 already.
Yeah, because a lot of these enemies in the Dark World do some good damage. They do have blue mail, so it's gonna take a little bit longer, but
There's some good Ice Rod usage.
I feel like skipping out on those 4 is just it's a gamble.
Could have opted to use the Boomerang instead of the Ice Rod here, but
yeah, I also saw Samura1man did go ahead and go through that forced small key section.
yes.
Probably just not aware of the small key in his inventory. And
I'm assuming this is for a heart reset, because the hand was right there and he could have just taken that ride out.
all right, well, chess game holding only either a green rupee. No, we've already seen the green rupees. It was 10 errors. We're gonna get our first 4 chests of Thieves Town. We do have the compass for here already, so. And there's another compass to desert. That's useful.
Oh boy, we're going back there. Still a wild start. For anyone who didn't see it, 41 minutes was our Dark World access after a horrible chain that you typically wish upon a runner near the end of the seed just to troll them a little bit. They got it at the start.
It was beautiful. It was literally the very last item led to the next very last item, but each item only led to one more item until we finally got the Master Sword from the sick kid to go do Agate Tower.
Yeah, we were hoping for that, and then it just kept delaying it, but we got to see what we wanted.
You know, this all would have been a little bit better if we at least gotten like the boots early or something. But wow, Thieves Town only holding 2 compasses and rupees. That's it.
This is gonna be. Oh, we're just walking out. Probably a decent call. You got blue mail, 6 hearts. It's about as fast, I would think. Although you have to walk all the way around this way.
Yeah, I feel like the enemies here, the lizard horse things, I think they still do 1 heart of damage even with blue mail. So probably still would have been faster to die. It would have been pretty close. So
2 on green. So. It's about the same. This way, if he died, I believe he would be at this HP anyways when he resets, so it wouldn't really affect him. Now the question is, are we going to go all the way to Hype Cave before we get the next item that helps us out?
probably. Well, here's the thing. They don't really have many options right now.
Yeah, they're already running out again.
You know, this could easily be next progression is first chest of pod.
I would be really upset if it was pod mitts this whole time.
It's so hard to make that choice, though. Only 50 rupees.
You make that choice when you're worried that your opponent is just better than you. Or if you feel that it suits your playstyle better, I guess.
Samura1man taking the Death Warp. Still feel like it's a little bit faster.
Yeah, definitely a little bit faster. I would say that was like 5-10 seconds. 10, I'd go.
Ooh, well that's nice.
Fine.
It's not progression, but it's one less thing you have to worry about.
Just means the D bosses will now fall before you.
It just means that they're never going to find silvers.
That too. Silvers are probably in GT. Ooh, the damage boost. Saving frames. So we got Hype Cave and Pod left. I believe that is all they can possibly do right now.
Yeah, so it's got to be something over here. I'm expecting. Actually, I have no. Well,
This
there's
could be
a
it.
big key for
Yeah, there you go.
beams down.
I heard you like double dipping.
God. Oh, this game. There it is. Okay. Hype Cave finally coming through. But do you go immediately back and do Thieves Down, or do you wait?
Well, you got the mids to let you go back that direction. You don't really have anything else open to you still. I guess you could go to the Dark World Death Mountain now with the mids.
I'd
That's
probably
the
do
only
that.
thing they actually open.
But it looks like
But
we're gonna
they,
get...
oh, they actually do open a lot because you have Hookshot too. So that's 6 items, and you get to find out what T-Rock is.
Mm-hmm.
Although at this point you have 2 medallions. Maybe you don't care about checking T-Rock until you are worrying about Go mode.
But yeah, I feel like this is a smart play to go ahead and go back, do Thieves Town. The only thing that's going to be a little worrisome is if that big chest has something, and when and if we find that small key for Thieves Town.
Well, knowing their luck, they're gonna get like the mirror in there, come out, save the frog, and then get the small key for Thieves Town.
Probably. This is such a goofy seed.
Yeah, we're coming up on an hour, and it just looks like they've been playing for like 25 minutes in a regular open mode.
I wonder if Samura1man's going to follow suit.
I don't really know what else you could think about doing, because I don't think most players think about Dark World Death Mountain as an option when you're only going there for the chest areas when you have so little done this early. So usually Dark World Death Mountains is like, we go there to try to find that Go mode item.
I usually like to get it out of the way. But it looks like he might be going back to Thieves Town, just taking this route instead.
Yep, it's actually really don't know which one's faster. He's got it, so there's the easier portal access, but
I feel like this is faster,
possible.
like
Yeah,
just slightly faster, just because it's so straight lined.
Yeah,
compared to walking all the way back up and around and picking up rocks and stuff like that.
I don't know about you, but I also feel a little bit awkward walking by things like the dwarf when I could technically go get them, but it's not efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd feel more comfortable doing this too, because I'm not just walking by the dwarf.
Well, without the mirror, the dwarf isn't really...
Yeah. But it would taunt me either way.
Yeah, of course. Alright, let's see what we're going to find in Thieves Town. Still need quite a few things in order to complete this seed. Based on what crystals we have left, there's some more money.
Going right to the end, are we? It really could just be Dark World Death Mountain has the only progression again. That one last location.
Would love to see something like finding the mirror in here, or Dark World Death Mountain to go mirror over to get into Hera and check Ether Tablet.
That'd be a little brutal, although the mirror opens up a lot of other options, so they might not even think about it. Although they might think about it as Hera first and then Dark World Death Mountain.
They'd also be able to go get that big key that's on the floating island in Death Mountain.
And the small key on the swimmable island. And Ether. The tablet.
Alright, let's go find out what the maiden's holding for us.
It's got to be something, right? They're not going to keep trolling us with really late items, right? Right?
Looks like it.
Right?
Right? Well, yeah. This could easily be something like find Bombos to go dive Ice Palace for the hammer.
So it's Blind or Dark World Death Mountain? Or Save and Quit Dwarves? Or Pod. Pod is still there.
No. Not Save and Quit Dwarves, Save and Quit Purple Chest. Gotta go all the way. Oh, Lord.
That would be brutal, because there's a chance they go turn in the dwarf right here, but I feel like after you turn in the dwarf right here, you still go up the mountain to do Dark World Death Mountain before you think about Purple Chest.
Mm-hmm.
So even still, if you do the dwarf first, which is not even a guarantee, because Dark World Death Mountain is a good place to go. If they do that and both of those are empty, the Purple Chest is going to be like their only choice again.
Small key 2.
Oh god.
Oh.
We're going to Pod, aren't we?
I would still go to Dark Death Mountain, because who knows, you could find another small key up there, because still, you need some small keys if you want to check like Dark Maze to stay in logic.
It's by logic, you technically could only get 4 item checks in with that key, so you aren't really getting anywhere with it. So Dark World Death Mountain having a guaranteed 6 is just the safer play. And yeah, we're gonna save and quit the dwarf first. I agree with this. You're here. There's no reason to come back here anytime soon until you get the hammer for the pegs. So it just a little smoother.
Yeah, that was a decent blind fight from ItsSupercar. Let's see what Samurai can bring us. Plenty of health. Even have Burna if things go horribly wrong somehow. I mean, these players don't have shields, but only Fire Shield is useful here. Well, or Mirror Shield. But I'm not concerned.
Decent fight by Samurai. Blind stays at the top. You gotta feel like you made the right play not going to pod though, because with the small keys the way they came in, you feel like you saved yourself a probable double dip.
Yeah, I'd have just pod. Going to pod with unless it's like your last choice, I feel like you still put off pod until you have maybe 3 keys. This is our third one.
Yes,
It is. There it is. All right. Now I would feel okay going to pod.
Yeah, it's a little more comfortable now. I still am a little skeptical because if you take that front door right now, you lock yourself out of a potential easy 4-key clear. Whereas getting a bow up here saves you that key.
Yeah, that's why I still like going here before heading to pod.
Although, you still need a hammer before you can save that key.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Both players are making exactly the same route after they got to that linear portion in the light world. Pretty much everything they've done has been an exact mirror.
Yeah, you only have so many options left, so...
Yeah, I'm impressed that both players just turned in the smithy. It's, I think, the right play, but you could easily have chosen go up here, get the 6 items, and be extremely happy. But 2 straight pod keys with the other method was definitely a payoff.
Yeah, everyone wants to be able to just mirror to turn in the dwarf, but they gotta be thinking about the fact that pod is a pendant, so they might not ever get that mirror.
Yeah.
Man, I miss the days when this wasn't part of the logic. It was so nice.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know if it was like a logic change or like if it didn't
was
even work.
Definitely an intentional logic change.
Well, I know, but like, could you save and quit with the doors before they changed it?
I actually don't know.
No,
Fire
there's a
Rod,
fire
so we
rod.
got Skull Woods back into the play here. Not
portions of Ice Palace.
That's true. They have the mitts for Ice Palace. They can do technically all of it out of logic with a bomb jump. Minus the big chest, of course.
Get some info here. We have the Quake medallion, so they do have the medallion that they need for this crystal dungeon.
Not much to go inside with, even if you found the cane here. You're still missing a lot of keys.
Yeah. They'd have to walk back up the mountain if they wanted to go there anyway. They also need to find a hammer first.
Yeah, no.
Late hammer is not a fun place to be.
Just very little options to getting into T-Rock anytime soon, so... Hey, look, hammer.
Awesome. Now... Alright, well now do you definitely go to pod. The other thing is, they can get to Hera now if they had the mirror.
This is, not... I guess he might be heading to Spike Cave here, actually.
Mm-hmm. He does have the Burnicane, and that did just open it up, so... It's a smart play to make.
My first thought was, you don't have the mirror, you're not going to be able to make this work. And then I pieced it together.
So... It does open up all of Ice Palace, minus the big chest, if they hammer jump. By the logic, it still requires a big key, and I think one small key, or 2 small keys in it, or 1 small key in a cane, or 2 small keys, I think, something like that. Whoop! Turtle Rock.
Hey!
That's definitely required.
It's pretty good working out there for Now, that worked out really well for Supercar, but do you think about going back to Hera?
If I had the big
You don't
key,
have, yeah, you don't have the
for
big key.
sure. No big key. You're only going up there for 2 items and Ether Tablet.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
But
So it looks like a guaranteed pod play to go off of next, but is
I
this
could easily
purple
see the
chest
seed
and
do
pegs?
something like that. Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. It looks like we're going with purple chest and pegs here, I would assume.
Or Skullwoods.
Oh yeah, the fire rod. Skullwoods is the play. My bad.
Yeah, that is the rough part. You kind of have to pick or choose. Like, it's really awful walking back from Skullwoods to go do purple chest and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I guess you have to at some point. The walk is going to be long, so.
Yeah, it looks like Samura1man opting to not check that Spike Cave yet, so going to be missing out on that Turtle Rock small key, which, as of right now, is required because we haven't seen all the small keys. Now they can potentially get away with only having 3 out of the 4 if they skip that vanilla big key chest. But we are getting a Ice Palace play from Samura1man, so he must be feeling behind to make this kind of play.
I kind of like this because you can full clear all the chests here except for the big chest, and it's a little bit better than going to Skullwoods for 2 items, because Skullwoods doesn't actually open anything whatsoever. You know it's either a pendant or a regular crystal, so there's no benefit to doing Mothula for the reward, so you're just getting 2 items here, and then probably going through the purple chest and stuff. So Ice Palace is just a better density to items going on right now.
Yeah, but you always got to be careful when you go off logic.
Yeah, it's on logic for the first bit, but
Yeah,
it'll go away quickly once they have to worry about the... Well, I guess with Hookshot, I don't think it ever goes off of logic until the big key comes into play. So I think everything but Cold Stare is in logic here. I don't fully know how the logic works for Ice Palace, because it's just a confusing mess that I always break, but... So I think it's only the big chest and Cold Stare that would be
yeah. I think
not accessible right now.
the logic requires the big key for sure, and then either 2 small keys or a small key in the cane. I think something like that. Because you can use the cane to hit the switch, so you don't have to use a small key in that room to flip the switch, go back up, and push one down.
Yep. Well, B released here on Moth. Get him, boy.
Get him! Every time I use the beat, it just pushes Mothula into me and I die.
It's
But
sometimes not a friend.
very good run though.
Oh boy.
What do we get?
We got the boots. That is a huge payout.
Woo! Alright, Skullwoods, the right play, at least for movement, but Library had nothing.
It opens up the Bonk Rocks and King's Doom just as a starter.
And
Desert Torch Key.
Yes. That is something easily to forget. The problem is that's such an obnoxious location to go to.
If you really, really want a heart, ooh, that would have been an unfortunate memory error there to skip this chest. He could technically go grab a heart piece or a heart container from the lumberjack, but I don't think anyone ever would make that play unless they are making a 100% tutorial. So.
Or they only had 4 hearts at this point or something.
Yeah, you might consider that when you're pretty much dead.
Just some bombs. And some money in Ice Palace.
Cash Palace.
It's kind of obnoxious doing that second part of Skullwoods when you don't have the mirror. Because either you have to, Death Warp to get back, walk all the way back, or do Moth and then go do that chest. It'd be different if he was planning on just saving and quitting out, which, honestly, I think it would have been faster if he just saved and quit out. And then...
Yeah, with the boots, you probably save and quit, do King's Tomb, do Bonk Rocks, and then head over back to the Dark World.
Probably would have saved a little bit of time doing that.
Yeah, or you just opt to go straight to pod or whatever your next play is.
But this will be our peg and purple chest. Ice Palace not really showing up. I don't think we've seen anything really yet here. Just use the hook shot to get across there. I've never actually seen someone go this route through Ice Palace, so.
Are we going straight to Cold Stare? Because I like to do that sometimes. It looks like we are. Nope, never mind. Changed our mind. Decided that's too risky for a race that you're doing just fine in.
There's a useless map. Seems about right. So Samura1man still hasn't done the, I'm assuming, the right side? Or, oh, he's looking for magic.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't consider the fact that he doesn't have the magic for this.
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta watch out for. But that's the thing is, these players have been like very low on magic throughout the majority of the run.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
magic drops really, and a lot of things that required it so far.
He does have a small key that he could use in that room down there to get 3 small magic pots, as well as the 2 at, you know, right before Cold Stare, which I believe would be enough to get him that full magic. So
yeah, although
but not having that knowledge is costing him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, not very, very infrequently does anyone go to that, especially speedrunning at all, really. You don't go there. You don't need it for any form of Ice Palace when you know the bomb jump, which is kind of how this goes now.
Please go check that room. You have a small key. I don't know if they're... Have they done the right side of Ice Palace already?
No, they haven't, I don't think.
Oh, so probably trying to save it. Well, you don't really need that key, though. Ah, this is frustrating for everyone.
I'm amazed how little drops have come out of that.
Yeah. Well, Supercar making the play as well.
Up, yeah. The thing here is, Supercar full magic already. He's not going to have as much of an issue probably, and there's just so much more for him to kill on the way that he could get a lucky magic drop that just saves him entirely.
Well, looks like Samura1man might be going for the... I mean, you could risk it all and go for the sword beam strat. Oh. Let's see if he gets it. No, don't do it! You're gonna get hit!
Those damn jellies.
Yeah, I know, right? And yeah, there's only a bomb and arrow. And now he doesn't have either option.
Yeah, he's gonna have to pull the right one.
I wonder if he's just trying to keep that small key to go do right side quicker or something.
Yeah.
When he could just use the hook shot. Do it! Alright.
I could be wrong and he has been that direction, but I really don't think he has.
Yeah, the bottom 3 down here are magic refills, so that should put him at full.
Perfect. Hopefully it's not fake full and it costs him all that time for nothing.
Oh, like a half pixel or something?
Yeah, I've had that where you're just like, perfect, I'm full, and you shoot 7, you're just like, great. This is not how I wanted to end my stream.
I wonder if going upstairs would reset the magic pots.
I believe you need a full dungeon reset, so
Okay.
you'd have to mirror or die or just kill Cold Stare.
Nice work here. Ooh, getting hit by that ice to lose, having him stuck up at the corner, but should be fine. There's 1 down, there's 2 down, there's 3 down. Nice. Good work. And a very nice bomb jump from Supercar.
Yep. It's going to be making his way to catch up to him pretty quickly.
Oof, only a pendant. So Ice Palace, complete bust so far. We haven't seen the right side yet. So assuming Samura1man goes back in, there's still 3 chests in there to go check. I'm surprised. I think he has to have checked it then, because
I actually made this play a couple days ago.
Because you just hook shot and go all the way around.
Yeah. There's no reason not to if you have the hook shot. And based on the extra key he had, I think he opted not to. Well, I don't know anymore because he had an extra
yeah.
small key. Where did he get that to begin with? I really wish I paid enough attention to that. I was watching the moth fight.
Yeah, same. Well, he went straight for the 2 freezer room, and then he dropped down and went all the way up to the tea room, grabbing that small key, and then walk back around. So I think that's where he got the small key from. But it's weird because he had the hook shot, so you can check right side using the hook shot alone.
Yep. We'll know if Supercar finds something new. Chat seems to believe that he has not checked it either.
Ooh, Supercar gotta be careful.
Yeah. Ooh,
Half a
boy.
heart. Nobody wants to do the bomb jump a second time, right?
No.
And this room is always usually... It's pretty annoying. These guys like to get in your way. Oh, nice fairy. That's really nice.
Pixel too far. There we go. Getting bailed out there. I don't think he's going to take too much damage for the rest of this anyways, but man, was that lucky. It's amazing how many 8 drops we've seen on those bombs. I think that's like the 4th one now.
Yeah, the drops today have been really nice. We've seen a few fairies, a lot of big 20s, and some 8s.
Very low on magic, though, as we saw by the inevitable downfall of Samurai's farming. Ooh.
Small key to pod. Uh-oh. It's not one you want to miss.
No, it isn't, especially because pod appears to be the next option.
Big 20. All right, one more to go to find out what else Samura1man missed. Oof, 3.5 hearts. Gotta be careful here. 2.5 hearts. Gotta be real careful here.
I think he's got 1 hit left that doesn't go into spikes to kill.
There we go.
And the compass for GT, so ice, not a huge loss. The pod key is going to hurt a lot if you end up needing a bundle of them, and especially if you need to go there next.
So at this point, we have the small key on the Torch and Desert. We have Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb. We have... What did Purple Chest have? I completely missed that.
I honestly did not see it.
It's got to be pod. We're running out of options, so
yeah.
Samura1man might actually get locked out of getting whatever progression is in pod.
It's also possibly Hera as well.
Oh yeah, true.
Just be really awful because there's only 2 chests in there. Oh my god, Supercar. Just 1 bomb, kills the skeleton, gets a full magic drop, and is out of there. Just kind of a little bit of a mock towards what Samurai had to go through.
Dude, it's just like in standard mode where some people get that 1 bomb and escape and some people don't. Sometimes RNG is on your side, sometimes it isn't. But let's see this cold stare fight.
It's a fairy to bail him out and then a full magic drop.
Not getting the normal setup. Gonna have to be careful here. Oof, 2 hearts. No safeties.
Yeah, even unfortunately with Blue Mail, he'll still die if he gets run into.
Oh!
Like so. That's a rough one. I guess that balances out his extremely lucky drops. Not really. And I unfortunately missed what that was. Let's see if I can catch it.
Some bombs in Big 20. Well, it looks like he's opting not to go back in, which is going to end up working out for him since it is a pendant.
Yeah, and, pendant nothing.
About to get a pedestal check from Samura1man, so... Can we get some ped hype up in chat, please? If you want. You don't have to. Nobody's forcing you. But yeah, this is looking like, Potter Hera.
Yeah, it's not The key from Desert Torch, what small key could push them in another direction?
I mean, that Desert Torch could be another Palace key. What are you doing?
It could be a Palace key. It could also be, if it's the Hera small key, it also makes an extra item when you go up there.
Okay, well, we only got a heart refill, heart container. Actually, I think that was Sankheart.
I think this will be his purple chest turn in. So we got Supercar opting to go to the Hera play. That's really interesting. It's amazing that both players, with the amount of pod access they have now available to them, are opting to skip it. Because Supercar with a bomb jump and the finding of a bow means he can still clear the entire dungeon and skip nothing with 5 keys. And he's already at 4, so it's kind of comfortable.
Supercar realizing his mistake. He waited that whole time for that dead rock to stop, just to realize that he was going the wrong way.
Another thing Super Samurai might think of in terms of going to Hera over pod is he hasn't done Spike Cave, so he might come up here.
True, yeah. Get that Turtle Rock small key after each X-Era. Yeah, not that much extra information at this point either about what dungeons we still have to do based on looking for crystals. But curious to see what Samurai's gonna do after Purple Chest. Yeah, for Supercar, it's only 3 items coming up here. Ether Tablet and the 2 that he can get in Hera. No big key, no small key. And that leads to progression, that'd be huge. If not, this is gonna feel like a little bit of waste of a time.
Yeah. Especially because he's almost certainly coming back here.
Moving on, the Ether Tablet, it is 50 rupees. But yeah, the question is, it's like, do I go all the way up to Death Mountain to check a few chests in Hera? You know, it's like, I have 2 dungeons that I can't complete. Pod or
Well,
Hera.
I guess he made this play because he knows he's not going to get anything out of the things he's chosen until there's one last place to go. So, he's manipulating the items.
Clearly. Alright, looks like this is a pod play for Samura1man.
Yeah, and 1 item left. You don't have the key, you
small
don't want to
key.
open that. There you go.
And just
Yep,
a heart.
pod is the required play, I believe, aside from potentially a Hera key on the Desert Torch, which would be just unbelievably rude. There is that scenario where pod is actually just fully empty. You have to get that Hera key to get the mirror out of Hera to unlock the game from there, which would just be just brutal. And Supercar right behind him on the way over. Both players heading to pod now, which Supercar knows is pretty much the only option for him. Let's see what the first chest holds. This has been available to them for the last 40 minutes. It's, oh my god, it's vanilla. Wow. So that's 5 pod keys now available to Supercar, 4 for Samurai. So with a single bomb jump, Samurai can, or not Samurai, but Supercar can clear all the pod without missing anything. Samurai, unfortunately, will not be able to do that because he does not have the bow. A map to Skullwoods, we already know what that is, not really useful. Do we see a bomb jump here? He's got a bomb out, but he was using that. No, okay. Ooh, he thought about it. He either thought about it or used that to stop himself from running into the Helmasaur. A big key for Turtle Rock. Not important right now, but definitely needed at some point in this game. And double hearts from the basement, so it's really not been anything in this dungeon so far, but with the amount of keys they have now, everything is open to them because they cannot use the bow to waste a key on the Helmasaur boss area, so technically all of this is now by logic, unless there's a bow hidden somewhere. It would have to be like a bow in Hera basement with the torch key being Hera, so it's pretty unlikely.
I see we found a flute and pod.
Yes.
Which chest was it in?
I believe it was the jump down chest. I actually didn't see it. I know Samurai. I don't think Samurai got it. So yeah, it's got to be the jump down.
There's another Turtle Rock small key, so our third one. So flute. That's an item. That only gets you. Well, it's Meyer. Well,
You get the Meyer accent. Yeah, it's got 2 items and whatever Meyer might be.
Yeah, but no Meyer big key yet. So
yeah, you won't be clearing it, but you got a good chunk of dungeon or chests to open up.
Yeah, if they find that Cane of Samaria, Turtle Rock all of a sudden becomes a play.
This is where the key that Samurai missed is gonna bite him.
Where was that? Oh yeah, in Spike Cave.
Yes, Spike Cave is where he is missing his key, which is causing him to choose to bomb here instead of do the other one, which he could have done both if he was Supercar. I believe that bomb was going to work either way. Not sure why he chose to throw it.
Wait, Spike Cave had the T-Rock small key. Ice Palace had the pod small key.
Oh, my bad. It was actually... Pod... What did he miss?
Oh, there's the cane! Oh!
Cane of Samaria? That's a good find.
That is
So
really good, yeah.
The...
Oh my god, he's heading out. Alright, well...
Oh yeah, the ice right side, yeah. I see what you mean now.
So he's got the T-Rock big key, he's got both rods, he's got the cane, he's got the flute. He can head up and go to T-Rock, but he's got to get that Turtle Rock small key out of Spike Cave if he wants to go through it and at least complete it, skipping that vanilla big key chest. But what do? Do you go to Meyer and check the 2 chests there first, find out what medallion you need, or do you go straight to T-Rock?
I think you gotta go to Meyer here. You don't have the full clear, but it gives you so much information. Whereas going to T-Rock, especially if you're Samurai, because you can't clear T-Rock no matter what as Samurai. Supercar should probably go to T-Rock though, I would think.
Unfortunately, T-Rock is not accessible to Supercar because he skipped out on that chest that had the cane.
Oh.
Oh, that hurts.
He might have... Wait, he has 5 keys though. That's really odd that he did that. Because he had all the keys to actually open everything available to him. Because you couldn't waste one going to Helmasaur. Unless he chose to save one because he didn't want to worry about that later.
Did he not? He didn't do a hammer jump, did he?
I don't believe either player did.
Okay. Well, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's a huge miss.
And it's Ether, so we have access to all of Meyer except for the big chest and finishing off Vitreous, but we are going to go see this torch key from ItsSupercar. Ooh, there's the last Turtle Rock key.
That's a really good find for Samurai, and eventually for Supercar. I actually missed one of the Turtle Rock keys. I'm not quite sure where it was.
There was one in the big chest in Pod.
Ah, that'll do it.
And then the one before that was in Spike Cave. But I wonder if Samurai is actually going to go ahead and... He's going to go for this as opposed to the T-Rock play. Maybe he's just opening it. I don't know.
I think you got a good reason to go in. Got 2 left side, the middle, and then 2 chests on the right. So we've got 5 chests available. 6 actually, because you can go get the one after the big chest anyways.
Yeah, maybe he'll find the Meyer big key in here as well. Get lucky. Oh, using Ether strats to take out these guys.
I wasn't aware that Ether killed those Wizrobes, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh god, look at all the big 20s. Oh, and Pot is a crystal. We just got confirmation from ItsSupercar that it is, in fact, a crystal.
Yeah, and he's gonna get this T-Rock key here, and then probably head right into Mire. Oh, no Kane. Nah, Kane doesn't matter for Mire, so yeah, he'd probably go into Mire too.
Yeah, so this doesn't hurt Supercar too bad. So if there's a bow in here, it might actually end up working out. If it's because the bow at this point would send it back into Pod, Eastern, and then Pod potentially. So he's got to hope he finds that in here. Otherwise, missing that Kane of Samari is going to hurt him a little bit. And he doesn't have any magic. Oh no! So he can't go into Mire.
That's unfortunate.
This seed has been really weird for magic.
Yeah, fortunately for him, Mire doesn't seem to be overwhelmingly good.
So he's heading up to go get a potion. Now, I think it's worth noting for anyone that a faster way... He has the flute. What is he doing? That's the fastest way to get here.
Yeah, you float here to begin with, but there is the full magic drop but right outside of the portal to Dark World Kakariko, or Village Cast.
Oh my gosh. 3 big 20s so far in my... That's frustrating. I was gonna say that there's the whirlpool just south of Link's house that takes you to the whirlpool right outside the witch's hut over to the west.
That's also true.
If you don't have the flute, but then I realized he had the flute. But it looks like he is gonna make the Mire play at this point, so there's still a chance. The tree outs. Did you say the tree north of Kakariko?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not randomized. That's always magic drop.
Yeah.
The tree drops aren't randomized anymore. They used to be.
Yeah, for a small period of time, bonks were randomized, but they changed that because it was just found that it means knowing things didn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
You wouldn't benefit from having this knowledge. You'd lose all your safeties for them doing stuff like that.
I think it's still you can still toggle it in the on the randomizer site if you really want to. Oh
It's
wow,
possible.
mushroom!
But I can guarantee you it is not randomized on the tournament settings or general settings of randomizer. That would be customizer or potentially enemizer only.
Well, ooh,
Not that important.
Oh man, if that was vanilla, that'd be great.
So we got the Shroom and Mire as well.
Yep.
Some fragments of information.
So is this going to be another bow and T-Rock scenario?
It's pretty likely. Although I feel the mirror is going to be the next item they get. What was that small key on the desert torch? I didn't actually watch.
G Tower, unfortunately.
Oh.
Just G Tower. Yeah, it is also worth noting that the bonk prizes and tree pole locations do change after you defeat Aga. In certain locations, I know like there's that one tree right next to Blind's hideout or Blind's basement. It
for sure.
Goes from a fairy to a big 20 or something like that.
I believe that is correct.
Well, here's the thing. Samura1man has 3 T-Rock small keys, so he'll be able to do everything except check the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, I imagine he go modes, or not go modes, but he full clears without checking that.
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling we're gonna get a mirror bow in here, and then mirror might lead to that. I have a feeling it's gonna be like G Tower big key on the floated island right there, or Mire.
It's possible. We still have that small key floating as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We've seen that we couldn't do anything with. Mirror unlocks a surprising amount.
So if that vanilla big key chest ends up having something, when ItsSupercar eventually makes his way back to pod to get his Cane of Samaria, that could be advantageous for him.
Yeah. He's got a few key advantages, I believe. One in pod, one in T-Rock. You missed it, but the first chest of pod was vanilla.
It's a vanilla small key? Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, I thought their key counts were a little bit higher before I left. That's funny.
For Supercar, it unlocked the entirety of the dungeon, assuming that Bo is locked behind the Cane of Samaria. But then he didn't get the Cane of Samaria, so not even that is possible right now.
Yeah, I still feel like it's a tough call to make in certain situations, especially in pod. But like without the bow, the game logically wants you to get that vanilla big key chest before going to the back. So that's why we saw, Cane of Samaria and Flute right there. So they only needed two big, and then there was.
Well, technically,
big key
by
and
logic,
small
it doesn't
key.
expect you to do that. It's more by logic you can use all 5 safely because you can't go to the Helmosaur section.
Okay.
Which is why Supercar, it's in the logic, but Samurai still has a logic concern for the way he's looking at it until he does Spike Cave. More garbage. At least we can... Well, I guess we already know what everything is, so that doesn't help us. Terra being a pendant. Not fully sure what Supercar is doing, because again, he has the flute. Are we walking back to the potion shop?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe using this time to...
Oh, he's got the mushroom. He's turning it in.
Yeah. But he needs to go back to pod to get that Cane of Samaria.
Hey, there we go. All of the aliens.
Useless.
Exactly.
Especially now that Colster's already dead. Yeah, nothing going on with the mushroom though. Only a dungeon map to Thieves Town, which we've already completed, so completely useless. What's this play? What's Supercar up to next?
That is a good question. I honestly can't... Oh, he's checking the Skullwood's big chest. He's going off the little breadcrumbs he got at Amire.
Yeah, there we go. Samura1man's skipping that vanilla big key chest to go finish out this dungeon. I think it's the right play when it's a crystal and you have the means to complete the dungeon. Just go for it. It is a risk though, but you never know. Because that vanilla big key chest could be the bow, it could be the mirror, it could be stuff. And especially since we know where that T-Rock small key is.
Yeah, it's definitely available to right now. But small key is pod, giving the 6th key available to Supercar now has full access to pod, so he doesn't have to worry about that key usage anymore.
And he might head right back over there. Oh, nope, going to... Oh, he might just be fluting.
I don't know, he hasn't thought about his flute in a while. Okay, we're good.
And we got the Misery Mire big key in T-Rock from the big chest, so... Clearly...
We are heading back to pod. It's a good step in the right direction for him.
Clearly, T-Rock was the better starting play over Mire.
Yeah, no real value. Samurai might want that key, because he's not going back to ice. And with the way he's used his keys, he has to skip a chest in pod, or he can't get the... he can't kill Helmosaur until he gets one of those keys, but Supercar, he's perfectly set to full clear pod once he finds the bow.
So yeah, at this point, we still need the G-Tower big key, we still need the bow, and that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Are we really set for keys too? Holy.
I think so.
Yeah, you are right. We are the GT big key in the bow away. Mirror might not even picked up at all.
But
There's a lot of useless big keys still in the pool that could be that one that we saw.
This could easily be a Mirror and G-Tower to go get the G-Tower big key from Floating Island kind of scenario.
I actually wouldn't hate that either, because it's like right there.
Yeah.
You don't even lose much time going back into the Dark World.
Ooh, Supercar. Kata Samaria.
Yeah.
Some frustration slashes, don't blame him.
I definitely would feel the same way.
Small key to Meyer.
Garbage, cool.
Thanks. Small key to... Oh, God.
Oh, no. Please don't.
300 rupees. Brings us up to 1,000.
So you got garbage, got a key that makes them feel like garbage, and then got some useless money.
That's a horrible item to get.
Yeah. It's just painful.
Another 8-drop. Wow.
The bombs are just out today.
Whoa. And a heart piece.
Oh, if that was a refill.
Yeah, I'd take the death right here. Just
yeah, I guess you don't have the... If he still had the mushroom, he could have actually done a fake powder, but not an option. He might be thinking about it. He has his cane out.
I think he still does have the mushroom.
Oh yeah, he didn't turn it in. It was Supercar that turned it in. So, well, I guess he doesn't need it anymore. But
better to die here than to die at Trinex.
That would have been a really cool play, though, to see him pull out the fake powder there.
I love when when it's used for checking back cave, it's stupid. But when it's used to get your health refill, it's amazing. It's just my hot take. Yeah, having a little bit of trouble in this room.
Yes. The pixels on being able to actually hit stuff is a little tight, so if you mess up a little bit, you waste a pot and you have to switch through your menu. It's just a waste of time. Supercar not too far behind. It's just a full T-Rock is a little unfortunate, but that small key might actually save him here.
Yeah, if that ends up leading to like the G-Tower big key or the mirror, well, the bow. If it's the mirror, then the
mirror could hurt him more.
Yeah, exactly. It's so easy to get like a red herring that just sends you on a wild goose chase.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing that Supercar misses one chest in pod, which sends him back a good chunk of time, but in reality, the small key that Samurai's missing right now could just be backbreaking.
Yeah, all it takes is one key, one extra chest to change the entire game. There's Butter Sword. All right, so we got some power. Butter Sword, no shields. All right, well, I guess the play here would be to go right back to Meyer. He might opt to go check Spike Cave first since he's here, and he'll get that T-Rock small key and be like, "Why me? Why?" And it looks like exactly what's about to happen. And that's an awful feeling. It's like,
it definitely is.
The amount of times I've like done like an open mode and I just finish Thieves Town and then find the hammer at digging game. I'm like, why? Why video game? Why? I don't want to go back and check that chest. Yeah, I bet Meyer's got to be the next play. A lot of players don't really like going to Meyer without the bow.
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
Fight. But with the sword, you can easily do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I believe Burner ruins the sword damage because it hits on its own. I don't fully know.
Well, we saw in a race earlier, I think it was Mikon doing it. He did Burna with Master Sword's dashes.
Yeah, it took a lot of dashes, so I wasn't sure if it was Burna damage or Master Sword damage that was hitting them.
So yeah, this is another case of slightly different routing would allowed you to do this dungeon in one go.
Yep.
And slightly different routing would allow them to do Eastern Palace only twice, as opposed to 3 times.
Yeah, the whole start of this game is a difference of like 8 minutes, just routing-wise, because of the way it happened to line up for them, which I don't think anyone in the right mind would have gotten that 8 minutes route, but...
Yeah. Well, there's our first shield. It was in the Vanilla Big Key chest, so Samura1man bailed out.
Yeah, that's a good little bit of luck for Samurai there. Both players opting to use Ether here. Or was that Samurai twice? I might have just been Samurai twice.
Interesting note.
Supercar didn't have the magic.
It appears that Kana Burna does not affect the the eyeballs at all against Vitreous.
That's
So-
good to know. So it's good safety then for him to just dash through with Gold Sword and clear them.
Now you could always do spins, like deboost and spins, the NMG strat,
Yeah,
and they'll die even faster. Well, no, not really.
same speed really. In fact, you're taking damage, and it's the cost of the magic that might be worth it. Although you're getting the refill, it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, you got options.
Yeah, it's really what you feel more comfortable with, I guess. If you have Burna out, it's probably faster to Burna. If you don't have Burna out, it's probably faster to just damage boost.
Supercar taking a couple dips into the hole just to reset his health, which I think is a smart play. Being kind of one-hit KO going further into T-Rock is not a good place to be.
Yeah. It's also a scary concept about finding the mirror is that Mimic Cave.
Yeah. It's always something to worry about. It's nice when you get the mirror, like, if you don't have the mirror yet in T-Rock, and then you find it in T-Rock, and you can just mirror out and go check that.
Yeah, and even sometimes you just don't think about it because you're clearing Trinex anyways. It's nice to get the mirror when you're doing T-Rock when you don't have the ability to kill Trinex yet. Because then you're just, okay, I'm mirroring out anyways. Hello, Mimic Cave.
Bye! Yeah, nice thing about this being Samura1man's second trip into here is he doesn't have to worry about hitting the switches again. So he can just walk right through that obnoxious level, or room. Alright, well, 6 hearts, like, barely any magic. Let's see what he opts to use for this scenario. No safeties either. I think he still has that B. Are you gonna use the B? He's using the B!
As far as I'm aware, it only hurts Moth. I even tested it on Armos just to make sure it doesn't hurt him either.
Sure is funny, though.
It sure is.
This is really scary, though. Backing into the eyeballs, because if you just get one unfortunate eyeball...
Oh
gosh.
my. You almost got double hit there with the way that almost bump happened.
It's terrifying.
Uh,
in this
could be good
situation, yeah.
I don't think the
Spins.
fire rod hits it though.
Spins to the exact same amount of damage
Oh
as
my
slashes.
The bouncing there, that was almost a death.
Oh, man.
That would have been quite the time loss.
Yeah, that's not one trip you want to make back.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I wonder if Supercar's ever going to make his way back to Ice Palace or not. But unfortunately, Supercar having a little bit of trouble with this laser bridge. He does have potions, so he could opt to use that instead and just use the Key and Burna. Oh, he's already done with it.
saving
Okay.
it for might be saving it for the Trinex fight. Although with Tempered Sword, you probably feel a little comfortable.
Alright, well, with that, we have unlocked Pyramid Fairy for Samura1man, so that'd be a good place to put a bow.
Yeah, this is starting choice. As far as what we've seen that remains, what could possibly have an item at this point?
Other than Pyramid Fairy, Thieves Town Big Chest, that's about it, I think.
Yeah, that might be it.
Kind of running low on options. I think we've seen everything we can in Pod as well, so... Like, we have 3 items left, and that's it.
Yeah, as a reminder to chat, we need the mirror to get into Swamp, so that will never be a reality until the mirror appears. And once the mirror appears, there's just so many other things that pop up that they probably won't go there right away. Because they have multiple keys just staring at them.
Alright, will this be our go mode? Or at least item go mode, or are we on another quest? Hey!
Right off the bat.
Alright, there's our bow.
Well, you're now looking for a GT
This is
Big
interesting.
Key.
This makes things very interesting, because, will GT Big Key be in GT?
Yeah,
Or
there is 22 chests in GT versus, I believe, once you full clear GT, I'm sure you will have the mirror, and it could be upstairs. There's a chance, but I would assume that you get the powder, the mirror, the shovel at that point, which would leave almost an equal amount of locations left outside of GT, maybe a little bit more once
I
you've
mean,
cleared to that point. So you're kind of, it's almost a 50-50 at that point, but half the stuff outside of GT you have to clear GT to get, so therefore it's not really. The
this could
play is
easily
always
be
GT.
like G Tower Big Key in Thieves Town.
Yeah, it really could be. It could be on Armos.
Yeah, we still have at least 4 more chests to check before heading up to G Tower. Both the bosses and then the 2 other bow chests in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, and
So
there's a pretty high chance that he checks that on the way over, because you're kind of playing with fate at that point to just skip on those chests.
yeah. But yeah, this was an interesting seed. Supercar had pretty much a lead for a very long time until he missed that Cane of Samaria in pod the first time he was in there, which ended up costing him a good chunk of change.
Yeah,
A few other things.
he had the lead really early on just because of the way that the start lined up. He had like a good 10-second lead. You know, the lead that you don't actually count as a lead. And it just slowly grew as he kept making the plays that got him useful keys. But that one Cane of Samaria just threw him out of the race for a decent chunk. So he's got to find the GT big key somewhere that Samurai doesn't look to be able to get back in this.
Yeah, I mean, this could easily be, based on their choices, could come down to a G Tower route difference.
Yep.
It's not very likely, but it is certainly possible. But yeah, he's got quite a bit left to do. He still has to finish off Vitreous, and then Pyramid Fairy to get the bow, and then go finish off these 2 dungeons. So, and yeah, we still haven't seen Silvers either.
Yep.
I'm sure both these players are competent in Silverless Ganon. Opting to use kind of the Ice Armos.
This is a strat I see Andy use, but it wasn't performed perfectly, so you'll have to just kill the final one normally. It almost worked, but they weren't at the perfect HP for him.
Small key. Skullwoods. Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. For Samurai, you see Skullwoods, and you're just like, perfect. I don't want to be going anywhere else. Get me straight into GT and find me that big key.
I think it's just the optimal play.
Yeah.
To check the 2 chests in pod on your way to Helma. Kill Helma.
Debatably, finding mirror actually would be good for him, because you could think about, you get that mirror, and you grab the big key on the island on the way up over to see what you get out of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You think, I don't want mirror because I don't want to go to swamp, but you're gonna get the mirror. It's gonna happen. At this point, the mirror is somewhere accessible to you. The question is it in GT or is it just waiting in front of you?
I'm assuming Samurai doesn't have any small keys left for pod. The only reason why he's doing other stuff. He is going to find a pod key in the Skullwoods chest, which is good.
Yeah, that's perfect for him. He is 1 key short, unfortunately, since he opted to open up the maze chest or door instead of doing the bomb jump. That's what the key's for.
A little too low, though.
Yeah, this is the smart play here. If you do it on the right side, you can dash off.
Oh.
Yeah, if you dash off towards the left at the door, you'll open the door unless you're on the perfect pixel. And if you're on the perfect pixel, you didn't need to bonk, so it doesn't help. But if you do it the opposite direction, you will always bonk because it's just a railing. And so it's the proper way to set that up.
Yeah, so many times you see players go run to dash into the wall and they just run through the door instead.
Yep. Would have been what happened to Samurai, but he had...
Come on, Samurai.
he had opened the always a small key chest section, so he hadn't unlocked that door yet. That was the reason why he didn't actually just go straight through that doorway.
Well, hey, this is giving Supercar a little bit of time to catch up.
Yep. He'll find the bow here.
And he already has his keys he needs for pod, so he'll be able to just flute right down, go right in. So still pretty far behind, couple minutes, but we're still looking for
Unfortunately,
one
no
more
mirror
item.
to combo it.
Yeah, that'd be the
Another
dream.
reason why you would want mirror right now is just to speed that up a little bit. Question from chat is, what's Supercar sprites? So the sprites are, as you might have known already by the fact that they're not playing Link, customizable through the ROM settings on the website. Samura1man is playing the Twilight Princess Zelda, and Supercar is playing... I can't remember the game anymore.
Popoi from Secret of Mana.
That one.
Or I grew up always just calling him the sprite. Or the annoying sprite that nobody wants. Every time I play, because I a long history of playing that game, I always had to be in charge of controlling both the girl and the sprite, while my brother just had to be the boy. But I got to be in charge of all the spells, so it was pretty cool. I love that game. It's a good one.
So Samurai heading to the right side we haven't seen yet, and then eventually Helmasaur. Supercar not too far behind, but he might... I don't believe he actually has anything else to check as well, so he'll probably be doing the exact same route.
Interesting that he's opting to do pod first, as opposed to Eastern.
Yeah, because you don't
So
have the mirror, unless he expects to find it here.
He might be banking on finding a mirror here, but unfortunately, nothing going on in the bow section of pod, so...
You get that Helmasaur mirror to find the GT big key, or is it just going to be right on Helma? Or is it just somewhere miserable that sends you through a loop?
I'll find out. Yeah, so Samura1man lucking out, not having to check that one chest in the back, known as the Harmless Hellway, I believe. Which, I believe Supercar did check. I don't remember what it was. I don't think it was anything useful. Maybe
I know the chest above it was something useful, but that one was not.
I think that was the Turtle Rock Big Key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting scene to see how it plays out. I'm very much expecting G-Tower Big Key to be in GT, but we've seen it before. We've seen it 1,000 times. We might be seeing it again. There's always that small, slight chance that we're going to find, you know, Ice Palace Big Key to go to Ice Palace Big Chest to get the G-Tower Big Key. Or, you know, it might even be something as silly as Tower of Hera Small Key to go to the basement for the Big Key. This race might not be so quickly over yet. But it's certainly not going to be a sub 2, especially with that 45-minute intro into the Dark World was...
Yeah, that was a long one.
That was legendary.
It's always a memorable seed, of course. And with Gold Sword coming out of this, the second that helmet comes off, it's going to be a really quick kill.
Yep, just 2 slashes, or a spin, 2 spins, spin and a slash, whichever you choose. Though, a lot of times if you have the health for it, players will opt to just use hammer alone instead of holding a sword, especially when you have the gold sword or tempered sword because of the amount of lag that it creates in the fight.
Yeah, it's really hard to hit that hammer though.
Yeah, it can get away from you a lot. You can take a Helmasaur to the face quite often.
Which is definitely not faster, but still a strat if you really don't have a good sword. You could just purposely take a helmet to the face.
All right, we back.
Perfect.
Should be back. Sorry about that, guys. Let us know that you can hear us.
Yeah, definitely
yeah.
let us know.
Yeah, please. Oh,
Attempting to commentate in chat. It's not going well.
But yeah, Supercar actually getting a little bit of time save because Samura1man decided to pop into Tower of Hera to check a few chests, which I think is a smart play because if GTR Big Q's like right there, you might as well.
These are chests that end Ether, both of which Supercar has already checked, so he will not be concerned about that at all. So he is only about 2 minutes behind.
All right, and
Yep,
the search continues.
Now, sometimes you think, hey, why not just tile room now? Is that one of these cases?
No, never. Tile room is always last.
Great.
That's just the golden. That's just the gentleman's rule.
Yeah, it's a good rule.
Oh no! Oh, getting grabbed by the wall master there.
I think the only option for tile room early is when you're playing a specialty mode like entrance rando, glitches, or the Randomizer that takes away tile room's enemies.
Yeah, except they changed that, so it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately that's gone for Randomizer.
Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it.
That's one of my favorite things. You could go straight to Hera Basement and feel good about yourself.
You put it off for so long and they're like, oh wait, it's just one enemy. Great. And sometimes it still spawns as like one of the enemies that's like invincible, so the chest just automatically spawns or the door just automatically opens.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Really just nothing going well for Samurai in this GT. Supercar catching up real quick.
This is crazy, dude. Alright, just opting to bail. Well, this could be big as well.
Yeah, if Supercar chooses to go right, he might take a lead here. He is still about a minute out, maybe a little more.
Dude, this is insane. This could still come down to a GT route if Supercar ends up going right and it's over there. But, you know, a lot can happen. And, you know, turning nerves can get to you. Flubs can happen. You know, Ganon falls can always happen. Or deaths. And there it is!
There it is. No mirror to send yourself back out, so you got to kill everything to come out or kill yourself.
Chest number 5. Well, here's
looking for the mirror.
Looking for the mirror or silvers at this point.
He doesn't find it.
I still think it's always good to check the other chest while you're at it, but...
Yeah, I think his goal was get the mirror so you don't have to come out of here and walk across this to go back.
Yeah.
And then hug the wall. I think there's a way to get through this. Oh, yeah, hookshot right there.
That was a quick GT.
Yeah. So if you guessed... Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
So yeah, no Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, and Thieves Town, or Tower of Hera were all... Well, I guess that one chest and that one pod key and Ice Palace was the only thing technically required, but Samura1man managed to do it without just missing one chest, which ended up being useless. So
This has been such a wild seed.
yeah, no doubt. Well,
Mirrorless and a 41-minute Dark World. And it wasn't like bad routing or anything that took them to that 41-minute Dark World. It was the seed was just like, all right, we're going to make you work for it. Like, really work for it.
well, here's the thing. If Supercar does go check these two and then go left, it's not going to be too bad. But if he goes full right, then it might be an issue. And he is going left, all right.
Extremely slow heartbeat speed. Sounds like Samurai's playing with quarter.
Oh yeah, it does. Ding. Ow. Well, this is interesting because, you know, I feel like Supercar might have, I don't know, have slightly better execution. It all comes down to execution at this point.
Yeah.
Supercar might be able to like make some time up on Samura1man, especially with the enormous health amount. So Samurai's going to have to opt to go get these fairies down here and probably the magic refill, while Supercar doesn't have to because he does have potions.
And as you mentioned, the execution, it looked like Samurai was outplaying Supercar execution-wise at the start, aside from the Eastern trouble. But as the seed has continued on, he's I think it's getting to him a little bit.
Yeah.
It's slowing him down bit by bit, which is not surprising with this seed the way it's been. I would this is the type of seed for me where I would just take like actual pauses from time to time just to make sure I don't just tax my brain down too much.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating when you have to work with less like, you know, no
Less
a lot of times in like Keysanity you get like half magic. You know, they did, you know, red mail, mirror shield, all that stuff. Silvers even, so this could come down to a better silverless Ganon.
Yeah, it's very true. Gold Sword should make it somewhat smooth for both players, but it's not out of the question for either you to get knocked off the pyramid into the pyramid hole, or to just hug Ganon by accident and take a big hit a couple times. Since there's no health refill on the way there, you're actually going there with whatever you take from GT. So if Samurai takes a bit more damage throughout here, he might be in a little bit of a trouble fight with Ganon there.
Yeah, but both of them having a little bit of trouble with that second Mimic Room. I feel like it is worth noting that both of these players... Oh, hold on. Let me do a little research. Both these players were in the secondary tournament that we had in the fall that went along with the main tournament. I know Samura1man did make it into the bracket stages, so let's see. Let me go check that.
Unfortunately, I didn't pay too much attention to anything outside of my own bracket, so I don't remember too much of the secondary. Samurai being patient in the torch room. It's always a good strategy. And Supercar trailing through the gauntlet, not too far behind.
Okay, so yeah, Samura1man did make it into the bracket stages. Supercar making it into a three-way tiebreaker in their group stages, but falling short of making it out. It was you fighting for top two and coming in third. So, you know, these two, they know what they're doing. They've played the randomizer. They've got the skill to back it up.
You might think tiebreaker in the group stage of the secondary isn't much, but there were some strong players in tiebreakers just because of the way the group stage went.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that Samura1man's first opponent in the bracket stages was Super Scudge, who is a very well known and very well versed in the game A Link to the Past.
Yeah. Extremely knowledgeable player, a lot of skill, but I believe he came into that tournament with a lot of rust because he hadn't played in about a year.
Yeah, Samura1man's going to be the first one into the Aga 2 fight. Supercar following shortly behind. Still has a few more rooms to go. Oh god, the clutch fairies, dude!
Supercar is just getting bailed out by fairy after fairy.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
it might not be enough right now, though, because he is a decent distance behind.
He still does have a blue potion, but...
Yeah, and there's no way that Samurai doesn't know silvers or will have trouble, because he does run NMG, I'm pretty sure. So I think he should be able to do this with Gold Sword pretty easily.
Is this a 4-cycle Aga fight?
I would say yes.
Alrighty, well, Samurai1man, roughly around the 2 hour and 10 minutes, we'll be heading into the Ganon fight without silvers, and we never found them. And we'll have to put up a good fight. It's 6 slashes for the first 2 phases each, and then the normal 4, and then 12 silverless spins or slashes with the gold sword. No potions, only has that bit of magic that he has on him, so he's going to have to use his magic wisely. Oh, no, we have a vanilla GT big key, or small key. Some bomb upgrades. Did Samurai1man skip all these chests?
I believe he did.
This is bad for Supercar. Like, unless he finds silvers, this is going to cost him a
Yeah,
little
you'd
bit
also
more time.
need Samurai to fall with those being silvers to actually come back into this. And a strong Aga too as well.
Ooh, there's the cape. Cape in the second to last chest.
Samurai already heading into phase 3, and there's no danger in this phase right now, so he should be clear to phase 4.
Ooh,
And
taking a
that's
dip
not
for
good
Moldy.
either.
Yeah, this is looking like Samurai's race.
Yeah, and dangerously low as well on Supercar's side. He does have potion, but you don't want to be relying on the potion just to get through Moldorm and Agana.
Ganon being relatively generous with these warps.
Yeah,
And
phase
silvers
4.
were in his tower, as is tradition, it seems.
I
Oh,
read
you-
Hera. I'm not too sure
Did it say
if I
here?
read that correctly.
It said arrows in my tower.
So that might have been it.
So just think, if Samurai1man had, you know, maybe they were on that right side in those first 4 chests.
Yep, check. Confirming I'm wrong. Sweet. Could have been tile room, it could have been right side, it could have been randomizer.
Rando,
A lot of
yeah.
options. They only checked a few of the basement area. It could have been his own big chest, so.
that's true. Alright, I think he's about halfway done. Yeah, without half magic, opting to just use the lamp just to make sure you save enough magic. Missing that one. Yeah, he's gonna be finishing up right as Supercar starts the fight. Oh,
Yeah.
and there it is!
There's the kill as long as he doesn't step off by accident. I have done that. It's not fun.
I think he's gonna be just fine. So,
Yeah.
once he walks through that door, we will have our victor for today, who will be moving on at 3-0. Congratulations to Samurai1man, finishing first place with a time of 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 40 seconds. GG. That's got to be heartbreaking, though, for Supercar, because he knows it probably came down to that Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, unfortunately, it certainly did from our perspective, but for him, he may not believe that it was solely the cane, but I'm sure it's on his mind that he knows that unfortunate chest routing in pod, which he had full access to do, cost him that one.
Yeah. I mean, even like that cold stare didn't cost him anything, since cold stare didn't have anything. If cold stare
let's
had
be
a
a lesson.
crystal, it would have been, you know, completely different.
Yeah,
Very
this is
one-sided.
a big lesson here for learning the bomb jump in pod. This would have saved him the key, which would have been allowed him to do pretty much everything he wanted. Because it looked like he saved this key so that he could
Beat
be
the
able to kill
dungeon
Helma later. Yeah, exactly.
That's usually what players do, but
Yeah,
when there was literally nothing left to do in the game except go to pod, you got to just get every chest you possibly can. But at the same time, you know, well, no, he had 5 keys. Didn't he have 5 keys going into there?
he had 5 keys going in, but
and then he got the 5th one. Yeah.
so he the bomb jump would have been enough to clear 100%. We have Samurai in the waiting room. Let's get him in here if we can.
And Supercar now starting his silver list. 12 of these, he'll be done.
Hello, Samurai, and GG.
Hello.
So, how about that? How about that Dark World access?
Interesting that kid has a upgraded sword under his bed.
Well, yeah, right? Where'd he get that? How long's he been holding on to that? That was a very entertaining turn of events from a perspective.
I was kinda laughing when I got that Eastern Palace big key. I was like, alright, this gonna lead me to? Then it was a single item. Then again, single item to Desert Palace. Finally a sword to get to Akanin's Tower.
Yeah, it was when you and Supercar were in Eastern Palace at the same time, pretty much, and you guys were both having trouble with that vanilla big key room. And we saw that second castle tower key, and we were like, "Oh, it's Aga! It's got to be Aga Tower! It's gotta." Though we were not anticipating it'd be such a ridiculous chain just to get to that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised of the chain.
Yeah, I think that was at about 26 minutes, and it wasn't until about 41 that you actually got into the Dark World. It's amazing how long it took.
40 minutes.
That's incredible. But yeah, this seed was once again, everything kind of came down to Pod. And Pod was the last option for the most part, and you guys both went in around the same time. You left with a Cane of Samura and a flute, and Supercar left with a flute.
Oh. Okay.
So he ended up going into Mire at the same time as you did. So that didn't really make a difference, but when you made the T-Rock play, which of course you went to T-Rock after Mire and then found the Mire big key, so you're like, all right, that's fine. Could have done Mire all in one go.
I like that in a Mire there was something for T-Rock, or was it just a T-Rock had the big key for Mire? Or something like that.
That usually is how it goes. But yeah, so the missing of the Cane of Samura cost a lot of time, because I think Supercar at that time I think he was in the lead just barely, or maybe like a minute or so. But then it completely flip-flopped, and then, yeah, you had a pretty tremendous lead going into the end here.
Oh, alright. Looking at my tracker, I'm still missing big keys.
Yeah.
What was that one on the island just floating away?
I have no idea. I was thinking it might be Cannon's Tower big key, then the mirror is somewhere in Cannon's Tower.
Yeah, I was thinking you'd find the mirror somewhere early so that you could grab that on the way, but it didn't seem to. We still haven't found the mirror, and both players are done, so.
Yeah, we're never gonna find that mirror.
I wonder where it is.
I mean, it's gotta be in G Tower. Like, that's it. We don't have anything left. Everything's been covered, because
it might have to be there.
The vanilla big key chest that you skipped was only a shield.
Oh, which, right. Okay.
That could have changed everything if it had been like the bow or big key or something extreme required.
Yeah.
So you skipping out on Spike Cave earlier, or until after T-Rock, wasn't detrimental to your performance.
Yeah. Did Supercar check the mushroom?
Yes, it was a map.
Okay.
I think. So
what about T-Rock? That one chest I skipped.
That was the shield.
Okay, I never got a shield.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty back and forth for a while, and then the question is, when you go into Pod, because for a while you guys were like trading how many keys you had. And then I think it was finally when you had 3 and Supercar had 4 that you guys finally made the Pod play, mostly because you had nothing left to do, I think.
I was kind of afraid to go to Pod just because I'm not having a bow, so I would have to get almost all of the small keys. But I ended up missing but I ended up skipping one chest in Pod that recovered small key.
Yeah, so you lucked out, because otherwise, if you had checked the chest in the back as opposed to the one in the front, you would have had to have gone back into Ice Palace to get the Pod small key on the right side.
Okay.
So, which actually leads me to my next question. Your Ice Palace was, I know you got stuck looking for magic forever.
Yeah, I was kind of stuck there.
Were you trying to save that small key to use on the right side later, if you're going to go back in?
That was my plan, to save the key. Then I just had another option, because I think those enemies I killed don't drop magic. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I had to use the small key to get the magic and finish the dungeon. Then ended up getting a pendant.
Yeah, I figured you knew that the magic was there, but you were just trying to retain that small key.
Yeah, I wanted to save it for right side, but
at the same time, it doesn't really, because you can just fall down that one part and then hookshot across to get to the right side stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot that exists.
Oh, okay. We were wondering. Because, yeah, it's like, why would he skip the right side at all? I mean, I think your opponent did the exact same route to, like, go to the left side, fall down, and do all that stuff and work their way back up. But,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But other than that, it was a pretty straightforward seed, really ridiculous intro, and then the Dark World was just, go all the way down to Hype Cave. So you still had to go from Pyramid all the way around to get to Hype Cave to get that mitts.
Yeah, that was a good adventure to start Dark World.
With Supercar finished with a 2:16.47, and he's in the waiting room, so I'll pull him in here as well. Hello, Supercar.
Hey, GG.
GG.
That, how'd you feel about that one? Overall.
I'm surprised I was only behind by 4 minutes. I felt the whole time like I was lagging after I had a terrible first half hour where none of my routing worked out. So
I have to say, I was thinking I'm behind when I entered GG.
Well, the funny thing is you guys made all the same choices, and I think you guys were in Agatar at the exact same time. Or at least, I think Samurai was just barely behind Supercar. What the biggest difference was the death in Eastern Palace, trying to get that vanilla big key chest location for the Castle Tower small key. Samura1man died there. So then when you guys finally went to Ice Star Cave, got the big key, and then went back to Eastern, you got to go, get the big chest and then bail, while Samura1man had to still go do the other stuff. So you both were getting into the Dark Road around the same time. It really came down to, I'd say it came down to that Kena Samaria in pod.
Oh yeah, I skipped that chest because I wanted to save myself a key because I don't know the hammer yump yet. I haven't taken the time to learn it, so I wanted to save myself a key in case I was going to need it for the boss. So I chose that chest to skip, and that was the one I should not have skipped.
Yeah, I mean it's a smart play to save a key, and you take the risk of skipping one chest because out of all the chests in the game, what are the odds that this one chest has that next progression item that I need?
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy about Keysanity. You don't know what chest has to progress.
And with pod, it's just kind of a gamble at which one you leave.
It was interesting because both you guys were in pod around the same time. Supercar had one extra key because Samura1man had missed the pod key in Ice Palace. But he opted to check that first chest as opposed to the one in the back, and got lucky with the one in the back having nothing, and the Kena Samaria being the one that he was in that chest. So, but then you guys were both in Mire at the same time and couldn't beat it, so it didn't really matter at all at that point until T-Rock was kind of the next big driving force of the seed. And yeah, and then you guys were you're a couple minutes behind in G Tower. Samura1man actually opted to check a few extra chests along the way, like going back into the Tower of Hera and checking those 2 chests.
Yeah, that was where...
Also check the Ether tablet too while you're up there.
Yeah, Supercar had picked those off early, so he didn't need to worry about them.
I was thinking of checking those earlier when I went to T-Rock, then I forgot, and I wanted to check them before I go to G Tower because I had no mirror.
Mm-hmm. And then both you guys actually making the same G Tower route. Samura1man having an unfortunate getting grabbed by the Wallmaster twice, which is...
I was like, alright, whatever, let's go left side.
Yeah, and usually, if you pick a route and then die or get Wallmastered and change route, it usually, bites you in the butt, but this time it worked out. So, it could have come down to who chose, it could have came down to who routed differently in G Tower if one person had gone full right instead. So you're kind of good thing you got grabbed by that wallmaster. Otherwise, it would have been maybe a little bit closer of a race.
When I got that key, I was like, "Is this it? Oh, what I have to do?" Then I will just leave because I had like no way to die fast with blue mail.
Yeah, and then the gauntlet got a little dicey. Both you guys were like getting low in health at certain points, and Supercar always had that blue potion in his back pocket, which was nice. But Samura1man just had that B, which you used on Vitreous, which was fun. But yeah, overall, it was a really interesting start. 40 plus minutes to get into the Dark World. And then you had to make a huge route all the way around to get to Hype Cave to get to the Mitts. And then, just bits and pieces here and there. Pod being a huge driving force, having both the flute and the Cane of Samaria, as well as the Turtle Rock big key and a Turtle Rock small key. So it's just a matter of time. Like, when do you guys usually like to route Pod in? Like, how many keys do you guys feel comfortable going to Pod with?
I usually like to have a bow or 3 keys, so I was gonna ensure I can check lots of chests. It's kind of hard to like route it for it.
Yeah, for me, the key count is less important than the items. Like having the bow and hammer, even if I have very few keys, then I might make a pod play because I can get around the front door and actually get quite a few things without using too many keys. So I would say the item count is more important than the key count for me.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Pod seems to be like the worst dungeon in this tournament in Keysanity, and somehow it's always Pod that has stuff, and somehow most of the time nobody ever wants to go there until like it's their last option. But yeah, it was also at one point it was like, all right, do I go to Pod or do I do Tower of Hera? And Supercar made the Tower of Hera play. I think he made it relatively early as well, which is unfortunate that there was nothing in there at all.
Yeah, none of the pendant dungeons had anything. Couldn't even get into Swamp. Ice Palace was kind of a bust. It had a pod key that was maybe superfluous, and Hera had nothing. So.
Yeah, looking at the tracker, it's actually amazing that none of the small keys or big keys for the pendants were found at all at any point.
It's surprising.
Yeah, a little bit. I was talking to Samura1man, the other big factor when you guys were going into T-Rock was Samura1man did not have that Spike Cave T-Rock, or the Spike Cave T-Rock key, so he opted to skip the vanilla big key chest that had only the shield. So we were kind of curious to see if that was going to end up costing him any time, if it was going to be like the bow or the G-Tower big key. But fortunately for him, it was not. And that's just one of those other scenarios. Same with Pod. It's like, if it's a crystal and I can complete it, I might as well just go for Trinex. If it's a pendant, then we can talk about options.
Yeah, dungeon being a crystal or pendant, it just like gives you an option. Do you want to complete it or not? If Pod was pendant, I doubt I would ever complete it. If pedestal is not recovered.
It was also kind of funny that you guys both, when you checked your map in the Dark World after doing Thieves Town, the only crystals that you knew about were both the Pyramid Fairy crystals. And you look up, you see Meyer and T-Rock, you're like, oh no, come on. Or is that a good thing? I don't know. Do you guys like crystals at those 2 dungeons? I mean, it means more stuff that you need to get.
My last few races, Pyramid Fairy hasn't really entered the equation, so it doesn't really fluster me to see which dungeons they're at.
Yeah. When you see Pendant Swamp, what is your usual first instinct? Like, oh great, no mirror, or oh great, when am I going to find that hook shot?
Again, it doesn't bother me too much. Swamp isn't something I worry about until I can actually do it. Same thing often with Aghanim. I don't worry about it being an Agaseed until the game has actually given me things to do that, so I just put it out of my mind and hit up other spots.
I don't know about Swamp. I kinda like to do it, but got just to make sure you can fully complete it when you for with a hammer, hook shot, small key. It's just a spawn, a small key you have to find somewhere.
Yeah. It was interesting that you both made the Ice Palace play relatively around the same time and decided to, still go ahead and kill Cold Stare for the sequence break, but at the time neither of you knew if it was a pendant or a crystal or not. And Supercar having an unfortunate death at Cold Stare and then never going back, so I guess that was a good bailout when you found out that it wasn't going to be a pendant or a crystal.
Yeah, well, I was still worried it might be the bow or something for a while, but I wasn't going to go back in until I thought I had to.
Yeah.
The reason I went into ice was because I was looking for some kind of play, because I had, in that first half hour, all my routing choices didn't work out. Sounds like Samura1man made the same routing choices, didn't work out. And then it was really a linear seed for a long time, like items that would only lead to one place. So I was looking for any kind of choice I could make that might give an advantage, and so I picked ice.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised we made the same play. I think we both have a viral rod when we went to... Yeah, we should have had a viral rod when we went to ice.
Yeah,
we would have gone to Skull Boots and kill Mothula for boots, but decided to go to ice.
Yeah, because I think Bombos was much later in the seed. So Fire Rod was the only way you can get in there.
It was in D-Rock, if I recall correctly.
That sounds right.
Yep, D-Rock chumps.
Oh, yeah. But, when you're thinking about Ice Palace, when you go into a dungeon that you can complete without the big key, despite the fact that the game requires you to have a big key to complete it, do you just... I don't know, it's sequence breaking is always like it's a scary situation to be in, because it's like either it's monumental, like it would allow you guys to like skip Aga Tower or something crazy, or it leads you down the wrong path. I don't even remember what Cold Stare dropped. I think it was just like a bomb upgrade or something.
It was nothing useful.
Yeah. But anyway, any last thoughts from you guys about this seed or about your tournament preparation or anything for the next round?
Thank you for commentators and trackers and speed gaming restreamers, I would say, and GG Supercar.
Yeah, GG, congrats on the win. That was the rough seed, so...
it was a rough seed.
Good job pulling it off.
Thanks, you too. And good luck on the next round.
Yeah, same.
Alrighty, well, with that, Samura1man will be moving on to round 4, sitting at 3-0, while ItsSupercar still in the running to make it into that top 8. We'll be sitting at 2-1. And GG's to both you guys for putting on a great show, and thank you so much for letting myself and Futon commentating. And of course, big shout out to Dude for putting up a good fight, tracking that monster. Thank you everyone for watching, and of course for Speed Gaming for putting on this amazing tourney. Stick around, because at the top of the hour we do have a race coming up. It is going to be Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows race. But if you're looking for more Keysanity action, you can head on over to Speed Gaming 3, where there's a race that just started about 33 minutes ago, or at the top of the hour on Speed Gaming 2, there will be another Keysanity race. Or at 8 o'clock Eastern Palace time, there's going to be another Keysanity race on this channel as well. So thank you guys so much, and Futon, thanks for joining me on commentary, buddy.
It's always a pleasure.
Oh, baby. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Have a good one.